here. Thank you for coming. You guys tell me, is this, do you find that people come in late, or are they relatively on time? How are we looking?
You get a few stragglers that pop in 5
Valerie's got to drop her kids off, so I'm saving some.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay. Just wondering if we should give people a couple minutes or not, you know? So, no, we can get into it. So, what's that? Yeah, well, you're right, the whole recap, yes, of course. So, hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick Tracy, Keller Williams Lakeside. I'm in the west wing of the main building, if you ever need to find me. Been with Keller Williams for about 3-ish years, and I've been licensed for about 6. So thank you for coming. I just started doing this session relatively recently. Before that, I did session 8, Find and Show Homes. So that's the long and short about me. So we're gonna get in. I'd like to take a couple, I guess a couple housekeeping things is at 11:30, Jeff Sebastian is going to be coming in here. He's our home warranty guy. He's going to be taking a few minutes and explaining to you why it's beneficial to have a home warranty when you take listings and offer them to the buyers. He's also bringing food. I don't know what that looks like, so just whatever. That's what's happening with that. I have to speak at Sherwood today at noon, so I have to jet out of here a couple minutes early because I have to do that. So, but Jeff will take you to the end, and then you guys can eat and do whatever you got to do. So I guess before we get into the expectations of today, I want to take a couple minutes and just talk about you guys. How was the homework for you regarding the videos and the time on task stuff? Do you have any questions about your business that you've encountered this week? Let's get into that. What do you guys got going on? I get that with a lot of questions.
I have so I door knocked in my neighborhood.
Nice.
Right after New Year's, just because it is my neighborhood and that's going to be my farm. I'm going to take it. I don't care who's in there. I did run into another realtor in there, and his broker called me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm very happy with KWL.
Oh yeah, good. What do you work for? Who do you work for?
Realty for Cause. I think that's what it is.
Okay, good enough. Good.
But they called me and you know, I was nice about it. You know, I'm very happy with KW, and you know, he asked me where I was at, and I said, well, I'm in Shelby, and they're like, well, why do you go down there? Well, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I like it down there. I have more of a family feel and blah blah blah. So in the whole process, I have a couple of leads that I have actually followed up with one. There's 2 others that I have to follow up with. One was kind of like, I don't know if we have to sell yet, but I have your information, because I had not a calendar, but something to put on the refrigerator. So the one yesterday called me. He wanted to see about purchasing the land behind him to build a pole barn or a shop.
Some sort of
yeah.
Sure.
And so he got the bylaws of the HOA, and then he has the information from the township, and then he called me last night and was like, I haven't had time, and I see that they're digging holes on the left side and on the right side, but they haven't got behind me. And then he's like, I don't know if I should sell now or if I should purchase that land, if I can even purchase. And I'm like, well, I can look at it, but I can't tell you. You actually have to read.
What are the crossroads?
It's in a neighborhood. It's in Grand Blanc. It's Christina.
Okay. I misunderstood you. I thought you meant. Okay,
yeah,
no.
It's in
Good.
Christina. And I said I can read them, and I can't tell you. I mean, I can say. This is my impression, but you need to read it.
Sure.
Is that correct? Because I mean, I can advise him, you know, when to buy and sell, but the whole thing of building a pole barn, that's his interpretation, is it not?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be ultimately on whatever association and even the township or the city, because they're going to have their own rules and regulations about that stuff, you know. You can help him buy the land, but in terms of what he's going to do with the land, that's not, I don't think that's on you.
That's
you know?
not on me. Right.
So I guess backing up a minute, regarding where did you door knock?
My neighborhood.
You're here.
In Grand Blanc.
In Grand, oh, you live in Grand Blanc?
I live in Grand Blanc.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now
It's making sense.
Right, for sure. So, all right, so talk to me about the door knocking. Like, with Telegram, what was the script? How did the conversations go?
Well, I used the holiday as my script because it was the New Year, and I sat down and wrote out 58 cards, Happy New Year. Don't forget, I'm in the real estate business, and I'm here to help you with your real estate goal. And then I had ordered magnets that I put my card on, and it had, one is like measurement conversions, and then the other one is kitchen something or another. And I traded them out in the cards, and I put everything in envelopes, and I door knocked, and I said, hi, my name is Joy, I'm with Keller Williams. I have a card for here wishing you a Happy New Year, hope your year is prosperous, and that was it.
So yeah, so with, door knocking or calling or open houses or, any kind of lead generation, it's good to begin with the end in mind. Like when you door knock, like let's just say for instance, it's like you could be like, all right, I'm gonna door knock 100 houses with the intention of adding 10 people to my database. Rather than just door knocking for the sake of door knocking or calling for the sake of calling. Nothing wrong with any of that. I'm just saying is that if you have the mindset of adding people into your pipeline, into your funnel, you're gonna get more out of your activities. Have you guys like found that with your whatever, calling, open houses, things like that?
I think if you have that goal, you'll definitely stay longer. You'll have that goal in mind, like I have to stay until they give me a reason to contact them and give me their phone number or their email address.
Yeah.
Which is basically getting a contact.
Totally, yeah, 100%, exactly. Data, right? The more data we have on people, the more relevant we're going to be in their lives. So,
otherwise, if it's uncomfortable, you just kind of move on. But if you have that intention, then you stay longer. I would find that.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And then so what are some ways to get people's information? Whether it's phone call or phone number or email.
Tell them you want to send them something.
Okay. Got it. What else? Hello? Good, how are you? Good.
I always get the, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. And I've asked them several times.
Well, yeah, that's, you're not going to get all of it, but it's like, adding value. I'm like, hey, I'd love to keep you updated on what recent sales are going for in your neighborhood. What's the best email? Rather than asking, may I have your email, say, what's the best email for you? Send you once a month, not a big deal. I'm certainly not going to spam you. You know what I mean? Make, be light about it. So, but no, that's good. What else has been going on this week?
If I can show you a way where you can start receiving listings on a regular basis, would that be of some value to you?
What kind of listings?
Whatever's on the market in your specific neighborhood.
So I guess let's back up. Am I a buyer or a seller?
You're a seller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm working with you, and I'm actually asking you for some information, to stay in touch with you and whatever. That's one of the things that I would kind of use is, how would you like to get up-to-date listings
For sure.
of your neighbors
Yeah.
when they're putting their house on the market?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And then they're either glad to give you the email at that point in time, and then I just put them in a drip campaign for it.
Right.
Put them on the app.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Is with the app is that you can say, hey, I'll let send you the app that lets you know recent sales in your neighborhood, just so you can have an idea, what's your cell phone, and then bam, bam, okay, there it is, and then so that's even better. Yeah, for sure. It's like adding value. People want to know what's in it for them. So it's like with recent sales relevance. That's how you actively work a farm, which is what I was getting to.
Okay.
It's consistently touching them, adding value to them. If you don't get their email, maybe make a point to drop off analytical data maybe once a quarter or once a year.
That's what I was going to do next, is drop off some data.
Yeah, and then once you hit them a couple times, they'll likely more open to okay, this lady's in it for the long haul,
Well, my other neighbor, she had her house up for sale with another company. This was before I actually had my license. And I noticed that the sign is gone, and I know it's withdrawn, so I have a letter. Because I know she's not there. She's in Lansing right now, so.
Oh, fair enough, okay. Anybody watch the videos on, so pivoting a little bit, anybody watch the videos? Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm Nick.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, anybody watching videos on staging? How is that for you?
I can see how it would be uncomfortable. It definitely showed that. It was kind of a cheesy video. But it's a tough thing to tell people. I know you love those pictures, but you need to take them down. You're like, I really love those pictures. It's a tough situation to be in.
Right.
And you have to take control of it. You can't let too much emotion get into it. Like, I guess you have to be like somewhat politically correct in it, but you still have to be firm.
Sure.
Like, this is not going to be your house, it's going to be their house.
Yeah, I liked when she said that.
Yeah.
Because I found myself in that situation. I was the seller, and the real estate agent came to me. This is before I had my license.
Of course.
And she was, very nice, and she was like, you need to, keep in mind that less is more. You need to declutter things. And I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I really didn't get it.
Yeah.
But she was right. When you're in your house, you really don't understand how outdated it is and how much clutter you have.
Yeah, sometimes I take pictures. For the 2 houses that I did, I took pictures because I told them all that. Like, you need to do all that. Oh, it's not that bad. And they took pictures. I said, I'm going to put these online. They're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah, I
like
like
the
to tell.
laundry and all that stuff on that rack. It needs to come down. It looks horrible in the picture. It would look so much nicer if it looked like, wow, we have a nice hanging rack. It doesn't look like a rack when all the stuff's on it. Just looks like a pile of junk.
That's a great idea,
Yeah.
like when you're doing your appointment.
Just take a picture and say, this is what it's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Are you okay with that?
Are you okay with that? Yeah. Or do you want to move this out of the way or put it in storage
Yeah.
or put it in the garage?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, as I was taking pictures for my listing, I said, do you mind, Tammy, if I just declutter, we'll put everything back,
Mm-hmm.
but let's just declutter the kitchen. And that's what I did.
Yeah, and when they see it that way, they're like,
Do
oh.
you guys find that, in you guys' experience, do you find that if people ask you what to do with their rooms or with their stuff? Like, I get that more often than not.
Okay, you're moving anyways.
Right. Yeah, I always like to tell people is that you want to assume that people have no imagination. Meaning, like, you want to assume that people can't see past your personal stuff. And I'll always tell people, like, dedicate one space of your house to your storage or your leftover stuff. I tell people it's people are going to see that you're moving. It's clear that you're still living in here. Why not dedicate a portion of your basement to all your extra stuff, or dedicate a bedroom, or if you have to get a storage unit, that's okay. It's not a reason to for people to not buy the house in my eyes. So, and it's also strange too, right? Because like we're entering a market where you can't put any old thing up for sale and it's going to sell. Like if we're not in a market that we were in 2, 3, 4 years ago, where you could get away with that, right? Now we kind of got to tighten the belt on pricing, tighten the belt on, like I said, staging and making it presentable. And maybe you have to paint and put new carpet and stuff like that, right? So, it's more important now than it's been lately. It's just put it that way, Yeah.
You know what's funny about that too, is sometimes you take a listing and it is an outdated house, and it is somewhat cluttered, and it does need some repair work, and you price it accordingly because of those conditions.
Yeah.
You're still getting people out there that want to even cut that price down.
For sure.
Like, whoa, the house comes at $200,000, but it needs this, and it's got to have this repair. Well, yeah, that's why it's there.
That's why it's there, yeah.
If we did everything else, it's going to be priced a whole lot higher, and they still want to offer you 180.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's also a good point. And so, how are you going to remedy that? Hello.
Hi, sorry to
Oh, yeah.
interrupt the kids. I'm 1 minutes late.
No problem.
There was a line in the video that said your job is not to make decisions for them, it's to help them make great decisions.
Yep. Yeah. With enough information, good information, then people are going to make good decisions for them. Because whether you stage your house or not, it makes no difference to me. But my job is to get you the most money possible. And if there is a financial benefit to you staging, giving it a facelift, maybe doing some stuff, is that something that you're interested in doing, or is that something that you want to do? You got to put it on them. Because it's like the price is gonna reflect that. So totally. What else? So we're just kind of recapping on your week, with homework, things like that. Anything else you guys come up against that you want to talk about?
Well, it's nothing that I'm coming up against, but I do have a for sale by owner listing appointment tomorrow.
Yeah, Tom was talking about that. Yeah, nice.
In my discussions with the gentleman, I discovered that he has an active real estate license,
Huh.
but he doesn't practice.
Interesting.
Yes. And I found out the company he works for, I've done a couple transactions with that gentleman 20 plus years ago, so I thought it was broker. So it's gonna be interesting, but he says, you know what? He says, it's gotten to the point right now where I have to move to Genesee County for a job transfer,
Nice.
and I don't have time for this, so
Right.
I'm probably gonna be listing it with a realtor
Mm-hmm.
real quick.
Cool.
So
Good.
hopefully the snow holds out a little bit tomorrow.
Where's the house at?
St. Clair Shores,
Oh, cool. What street?
Madison,
Cool. Good.
186,000. That's one of them I did call the other day, yes. To me, it's easy to get into a for sale by owner, but it's not that you're trying to get the listing on that very first phone call. You gotta break these people down,
Yep. It's
little by little by little.
yeah. You're playing the long ball with for sale by owners.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, but that was interesting. Out of my questions and asking him and stuff, that I discovered he's got a real estate license. So he will probably be easier to talk to because he knows how we work and how tough it can be sometimes.
Yeah, and he's likely gonna see the value, you know.
Absolutely.
Good. Good. Yeah, well, let us know how it goes, you know.
Oh,
All right, cool. So, how's your lead generation going? Any thoughts on that? Contacts, appointments, anything?
crickets.
Yes, yeah, I don't know, yeah. If I'm the first to tell you, this is a people business, you know what I mean? Okay, so we're gonna get into a couple things today. Anything else on the homework? Any reading?
Not on the homework.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so when you're calling for sale by owners.
Yes.
And they're like, you know, call me in the spring, or I wanna wait like a little while to see if I can sell it on my own. How often are you, like how often should you be calling?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and there's several ways to do it. So there was a MAPS coach out of Texas. He kind of subscribes to it's a call, handwritten note, item of value. Call, handwritten note, item of value. Okay, so like what would be an item of value for a for sale by owner? Market stats. Market stats, yep, great, keep going.
Disclosure.
Perfect. A blank seller's disclosure, right? And lead-based paint for that matter, you know?
Yes.
What else?
Benefits of going with an owner, or price, you know, the benefits of talking bottom line and more.
Totally, yep, for sure. Yep, absolutely. What else?
Can you give them a blank seller's net sheet?
Yep, that's absolutely right. You
I mean,
certainly can do
that would kind of actually open up their eyes, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Focus on the bottom line, not the commission, right? So yeah, that's exactly right. Yep. So, and I guess a couple other things. A title sheet. You know, with title rates, because they're going to need that whether they sell privately or professionally. You know, the idea behind this is that with for sale by owners, I think the average is 7 to 9 touches before you're going to get some traction. You know, and then the mindset on that is that, like, so let's say here's the starting line, is that the more you follow up, the less likely other agents are. You know, because statistically, maybe not statistically, generally, real estate, they're looking for a quick appointment, or a quick sale, or a quick put a sign in the yard, right? But for sale by owners, sometimes it takes 30, 45, 60 days to nurture them, right? Because they're, you know, they need some comfort, right? So it's like, to answer your question, whatever they tell you, call them back in half the time, or even maybe a quarter of the time, you know. Maybe try to get their email so you can drip on them like that, you know what I mean? And so like any item of value you send, you can even door knock it and say, hey, we spoke, I feel like we had a good conversation. You're gonna need this whether you sell on your own or with me, whatever, we can talk about that later. Here's a blank seller's disclosure statement. You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If they go through like a title conference, which obviously that's who they have to go through, right, to do the process, don't they get a packet with all of that information in it? Because I've heard that before, given seller's disclosure, last base, they're gonna need it, but isn't that also provided by the title company anyway?
Yes, provided, who's to say that they even spoke to a title company yet?
Right.
I totally get it. The idea behind that is that you're prospecting a for sale that may not have any of this, you know, so, because they would have to have a little bit of savviness about them to go to a title company and get the package, you know? A lot of times they haven't thought that far.
Okay.
So, yes, and by giving them, it to them, you're providing value and showing them that you're actually in it to net them more money, you know? Does that make sense? What else you got? Either our FISBOs expired, otherwise?
I mean, my only thing is with the FISBOs is they see time price higher anyways, thinking their house is worth, you know.
Yep, totally.
And then you tell them you're gonna net them more, but
Right.
you always net them more.
Well, that's exactly right. And it's like, the biggest thing with sellers and even for sale is their motivation. You know, it's like if they're not motivated, it doesn't matter if we're helping them professionally or for sale by owner, we just can't help them. Yeah. So yeah, that is valid. And it's like buyers, like if they're going to a for sale by owner, chances are they want a deal. So it's like, otherwise they would go to 98.7% of the inventory, which is the real estate brokers. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of down like a rat. The idea is that you want to present the problem presentation to for sale by owners. And the problem is that when a buyer, who here owns a house? Most of us, right? So it's like, who, you own a house, right? Okay. So it's like when we enter the market as buyers, we hire a buyer agent. And that buyer agent does a lot of stuff for free. You know, we tour with buyers in our cars. We go and show them houses. We help them navigate a purchase agreement and attend a home inspection. We help them with financing and navigate the appraisal. All of this we do for free, right? Because buyer agents don't get paid until we're at the closing table. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. So it's like, why would a buyer, unrepresented, go to a for sale by owner to get a deal, right? Or at the very least, save that same commission. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then there's the exposure conversation. Like, we can do things for sale by owners that they just simply can't. Yes, Zillow, forsalebyowner.com is a great place to start, yet, you know, we just have more tools in the tool belt. You know what I'm saying? Is any of that unclear?
I always tell them,
Yeah.
too, like, you know, that using the agency that we're with, I tell them, you know, we have 400 agents, we all will advertise, and you know what I mean, so I use that too.
100%, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Did the owner or for sale owner actually sell his house for a lower than his estimate and had to go through an agent as well?
I'm sorry.
The owner of forsalebyowner.com
Yeah.
had to sell his house through an agent.
Okay.
Couldn't do it himself.
Yep.
And sold it for about $1 million less than what his estimate was.
Mhm.
Pretty cool number of combinations. That's their base of what they're
Totally, right. Yep. And I don't know if anybody, quick thing, I don't know if anybody mentioned this in a pre-qual script. My pre-qual script says, hey, Zillow says your house is worth $200,000. How do you feel about that? You got to call it out, you know, because they're either going to agree with it or not agree with it. It gives you a sense of what you're going into in the listing appointment, whether it's for sale by owner or otherwise, you know.
And they've seen it.
What?
And they've seen it.
Of course it's in it. Yes, yeah, we kind of got to own that right now, you know, because we can't ignore it. You know, we have to be present to Zillow being out there, you know. So, yeah, so I guess recap, short answer, the more you touch them, the more you follow up with them, they're either going to sell or list with somebody else, might as well be you. You know what I'm saying? Cool.
I have another question.
Go ahead, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, this time is for this, yeah.
When you call an expired, and like some of the questions I just asked them is like, you know, what do you think your real estate agent did wrong, or why do you think that your house didn't sell? Do you think it's priced too high?
Yep.
Did they do open houses? Did you have any offers on the house?
Yep.
Stuff like that. And when they're like, we had open houses, you know, we had a bunch of people come through, just no offers. And I do like a market analysis on the house, and I see like, I mean, it's priced right. I haven't gone into the house. I haven't actually seen the house, but I feel like it's priced right from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to them that you could do differently than what another agent did?
Yeah, so I love to use the word diagnose. I'll say, hey, I'll tell you what, let's do this. I specialize in houses that did not sell the first time. I'd love to come by a house and we'll diagnose why your home didn't sell. I can give you some staging advice. We'll take a look at the market now because it's way different than when you first listed. And from there, you'll have you have enough education to make the right decision. You know, because if you're thinking it's priced right, and you know, I mean, it's got to be there's something that we're not seeing, like a condition thing.
It sounds like you're going too deep into it. Get the appointment. Don't try to get your listing over the phone. Get your simple questions enough to get the interest, and then go make the appointment. Because over the phone, it's easy to hang up. It's far easier to say no when you're face to face. Far harder to say no face to face. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just don't ever want to like, because they'll be like, well, what are you going to do differently than Tyler? Like,
Well, let me show you. One of the first things we'll discuss. You know, that's what I do. I try not to overdo it over the phone. Just get the interest in there and then make an appointment. And then if they have questions, great. One of the first things we'll talk about when I see that. So that fair? Does 2 o'clock work or 4:30 better?
Yeah, and you can give them some nibbles, and you can validate what they're saying. Like, yeah, no, it's a great question. You were on the market for 6 months, and I take a proactive approach to selling real estate. I'd like to talk to you more about that. So what is proactive approach, right? It's lead generating for the buyer. It's communicating the listing to everybody in this market center, right? That's some 360 agents. That's saying something rather than just putting it on the multi-list and praying that somebody else sells it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's a little bit, you can dig more into it. I will show you later my marketing presentation. It's a 1-page thing, so we're gonna get into that in a little bit, okay? Okay, so, all right, moving forward to today's content. So it's like, at this point, you have lead generated for the listing, right? You now have the listing appointment, and you now have a listing signed contract, right? So you have fooled these homeowners, and no, I'm just kidding. So it's like you met with them, you did your listing presentation, and you priced the property right. You have priced the property right. Or you have prepped them for price reduction conversations if you have X amount of showings or X amount of time. All right, so now what I want to do today is I want to make you become more purposeful in getting more business out of your transactions and also leveraging your communication through video. If I could give you one thing that you could take away and implement into your business today to help you get more business from your listing, more buyers, is that going to be worth your time today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's get into it. So you have, let's see here. I always forget about this. So, okay. We got started with applications. Did that. Cool. So it's like, you know, another thing is cementing the relationship once you have the signed contract. Right, because it's like these people, you know, they trust you with the sale of their house, and we're going to build this relationship to where you're going to get referrals for them in the future. Okay, so talk to me about how you're doing that right now. If you've never sold a house, fine, I'm talking to people who have. Like, what are you doing to really give that personal customer experience?
Consistent and ongoing communication.
Yes.
I let them know that twice a week I'll be calling you, want the market update at the end of the week, and want to let you know what happened throughout the week on Friday. And on the Friday conversation, I'll also ask you if you know anybody else looking to buy, sell, or rent that I can help. And I'll let them know in advance. I front load that question so they're thinking about it.
Yep, exactly. So you said it that you're setting that expectation, right?
And I asked permission when I get the listing initially. I said, you know, a big part of my business is referrals. Would you mind if I actually periodically, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or rent, would that offend you? Mm-hmm. And everyone says no. Great, and I got permission.
Yep, perfect, good. Yeah, I did the same thing in buyer consultations. Yeah, so that's exactly right. Cool. What else you guys do?
Refer to their why. Remind them why they're selling a lot.
Yep.
Keep reminding them. Let them know you've heard them.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, for sure. Referring to their motivation, how to get them from A to B, right? Because that is ultimately what we're doing, right? Not just selling the house. It's like we're getting them to another place. You know, maybe not. They might not be moving. That's not the point. I'm saying like that we're helping them achieve a life goal. You know. So okay, cool. What else? So, a couple ideas. Sandy in session 2, she spoke about handwritten notes, right? So what might be worth your time is sending a handwritten note after you booked the appointment and then after you went on the appointment. Right? You know, it's a touch, it's hitting them.
Thank you.
Yep, and taking that one step further, what would it look like if after the appointment you sent them a thank you video instead of a thank you note? You guys ever do that?
I'm learning to, I was Googling that.
Yep, for sure. I have some example videos I'll show you later. So yeah, and again, it's like we're putting the human back into the business, right? Because we're very we're very connected. Sometimes you gotta disconnect to reconnect, right? So it's like sending that video 30 seconds long. Say, hey, I just want to let you know, thank you so much for meeting with me. I look forward to the opportunity to sell your house. You do it in your car. You can do it when you get back to the office. It doesn't make any difference. The point is that I want to get you to start thinking about stuff like that. Like, what could you do? What do you do now in text that you could replace with video, right? So, like, I guess taking a bird's eye, your words, like what would it look like if you took that time and made it into a video and sent it out and you're done with it, right? Just something to think about.
You could pre-make them too.
You could totally pre-make them, yeah. That's exactly right. And like they're gonna see it, a couple things. One, they're gonna see it on their own time because you're either gonna text it or email it to them, and they're gonna it'll make them feel good, you know, rather than handwritten notes good, but again, taking it a step further, start thinking about using video for stuff like that. Go ahead.
Like you said, you can pre-make it, so you can literally like probably save it in your favorites on your phone, right? And then can you do something like that and then text that?
Yeah, you absolutely can do that.
Eric one with the thank you. Okay.
Yeah, totally. So it's like there's two schools of thought on that. So one, automation, right? It's quick, it's easy, you can engineer for it. The thing of the other side of the coin on that is that it's not personal. Right? I'm not saying your name.
Right.
I'm not wearing the same clothes. You get what I'm saying? So it's like that's stuff to think about. And it's like we're not really giving full-blown explanations on stuff. You know, so I don't know that a 20-second, 25-second quick video right after the appointment would take up a lot of time. So yeah, it's whatever you guys want to do, and that's the beauty of it. You can run your business however you want. You know?
So if you do a quick video text saying thank you for the appointment,
yeah,
you're also sending a card.
You
a
could.
Thank you card. In my mind, that's like thank you and then thank you again.
Yeah, or you can mix it up, like do a video and handwritten note. Maybe a handwritten note for the appointment, going on the appointment, and a video for setting the appointment. What's important to me about setting an appointment video is that they know who's coming over. You know what I mean? It's putting a face with a name. It really defuses things. You know? So, just, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Sorry.
So, okay, cool.
I'm gonna walk on my toes first.
And I guess while we're talking about this, I didn't mean to do this too early, but while we're here, you know, you could also send videos during next steps in the process. You know, so it could be like, hey, Mr. Seller, you know, so now that we have your home under contract, your home's going pending in the multi-list, and the next step is the home inspection. The buyers are going to have 7 days to conduct this home inspection. You're going to get it through a showing request via showing time, just like you've been doing. You know, like the idea behind this is over communicating. You know, in my opinion, it's like you're really cementing that relationship, and you're putting yourself as a human before a real estate agent. So, what do you guys think about that? You know, so
Yeah.
it's you know, it's gonna set you, and you can do this, like, we're talking about clients, but you can also do this for leads, which I do often, you know. Has anybody here ever been tagged on something real estate related?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys been, yeah, so show of hands. I'm sorry, I'm Nick.
Giovanni.
How you doing, man? Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. So what would it look like? Like, let's say that I'm a civilian, like not a real estate agent, and I tag Becca in something real estate related, and Becca sends that person a video introducing herself, right? Via Facebook direct messaging. You get what I'm saying? I probably booked half a dozen appointments in the last 2 months on stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey Becca, I saw that you were tagged in this post about buying a house. My name is Nick, I'm a local real estate agent. I just wanted you to put a face with a name and ask if you wanted to carve out some time for 35 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and go over the A to Z's of buying a house in today's market. I'm gonna put my cell phone in the message. You let me know when you want to meet. You know, it's a big deal. It's heavy stuff. It's a good thing to do. What do you guys think about that?
That's nice.
So yeah. So again, it's like we're putting the human back in the business. Do not like overthink this, because another thing is that we're not getting a fancy camera. We're not like putting music in it. That's marketing. That's a little bit different. Like what we're talking about is lead generation and building a relationship. And that is organic. It's humility. It's stumbling on stuff. Like that is okay, and it's encouraged. Feel me? People are not interested in perfection. People aren't interested in something fancy, because when something fancy goes up, like their guard goes up, they feel like you're going to sell them something. It's not what we're here to do. It's going to be just like this. Go ahead.
So do you notify them with on the Facebook that you're just sending a private message? Because I know a lot of times people do the private message if you're not friends.
Good point. I will, let's see here. Let's back that up. I thank the person who tagged me. Thank you so much. And then the taggee, the tag or whatever, the lead. I'm saying, hey, I just sent you a message. So yes, I guess I'll acknowledge that. And you got to do it quick, right? Because we're on their time, speed to lead. You know, so that's it. That's my 2 cents on videos. Okay. Anything else on that? So yes, you can automate them. You can do them personally. So I recommend, as your business moves forward, start thinking about, okay, I'm doing this in text. What can I do? Could this be replaced with video? Right? Okay, cool. I'm on page 12. Yeah, matter of fact, we're gonna go on page 11 real quick. So can somebody read this for me, please?
From the very beginning,
Yeah.
so far you have worked hard to find the business and get the appointment. Once you have landed the appointment, you've demonstrated to the seller your value as the listing agent, and they signed the listing agreement with you. Now what? It's time to act on what you promised your sellers in the listing presentation. It's more than just sticking a sign in the yard. Successfully marketing and servicing the listing is very important to your client and could have positive, long-lasting benefits for you. Number 1, get the listing sold by attracting buyers to the listing. Do that job well, and you will also generate additional buyers who will buy other listings and sellers who will see you have an effective listing agent. 2, meet your sellers' needs in a focused and communicative way.
Communicative way, yep.
Thank you. This will build your reputation as a top listing agent, generating repeat business and referrals from that seller, and create many more paydays ahead.
Cool, good job. So yeah, we spoke about this briefly at the beginning. It's like, you have lead generated, the top of the funnel, and you have harvested this lead to the point where it became an appointment, and then now they became a client, not a lead, right? And the big difference is the fiduciary contract at which you guys have signed. So now you are officially working for them to get them the highest possible price with the most qualified buyer in the shortest amount of time, right? Which that is page 12. Fiduciary, a person who is legally or ethically entrusted to manage money or property between 2 or more parties. So can someone read the bottom of that, starting with being the sellers?
Being the seller's fiduciary means servicing and marketing their home in the most effective There are 3 steps in this critical phase as your listing relationship with any seller. 1, stage the property. Number 2, market the listing. Number 3, communicate with the sellers.
Cool, so staging, right, that's number 1, so that's page 13, we can talk about this. So, you know, I feel like the videos did the job, right, and we kind of spoke about this in the beginning, you know. So yeah, the goals of it is to, you know, present the best face of the home, maximize the spaciousness of the home, and allowing visiting buyers to envision themselves in the home instead of seeing the sellers at every turn. Yeah, so it's like the biggest deal on staging is really who you're competing with. You know, if you have a lot of competition, it's even more, it's always important to stage your house, yet it's even more important when there's a lot of active competition, right? Because when a buyer's entering the market, they may have a lot of options to choose from, you know? So, yeah, it's like when you guys were buying houses, did you kind of feel that same? I know we touched on it. When you guys were buying, did you guys feel anything? Did you guys feel like a certain way about people's decor, or like talk to me about that? Like when you guys are in houses, what do you think about that?
I look a lot at, if the house is not clean, I feel like they haven't taken care of it. If they can't even clean it when you go to look at it. So
Yep.
I always tell people, make sure your house is clean, because that's a big thing for me. Like if it's not clean, then I think you can't even clean it, you're not taking care of your house.
Yes, that's exactly right. Right? If you can't clean it, chances are you're not doing the harder stuff. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So, yep, got that. What else?
Stuff is distracting. Like
Yep.
they're not really looking at the house, now they're looking at your stuff.
Yep. Yep.
They
That's
walk-
exactly right.
They
Yeah.
walk out of there and they say, that's the room with the pile of laundry, and that's the room with the dishes at the sink. Like they don't remember what it really looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
distracting.
Distracting is 100%.
We're selling square footage here, we're not selling your stuff. So you need to make the house look as big as possible. Maybe minimize some of the larger furniture, make it look big and inviting and bright. And get rid of your 500 pictures off the wall and limit it down to 3 or 4. Just, you're moving, so let's get your stuff that's fresh and put away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, setting aside like the emotions on it is that, yeah, it is a piece of inventory. You know, it's just like a car. You know, when you sell a car, you get a detail, you do what you got to do to it to show its best face. You know, the same thing with a house. Good.
Another one that I come across a lot, the smell of a house.
Smell is. I was going to say that with how.
You
Yeah.
got animals or smokers and whatever. And sometimes that can be pretty tough.
Do you tell them to get an ozone generator, or do you do that and say when you're out of the house, run this?
Every situation is different. I have to look at the person and how their expressions and things are. You know, we play different personalities.
I know, like on an empty house, I would run an ozone generator for the smell.
If they have something, well, then see, you also have to be careful of that, because if you're putting too many things out there, now a buyer might look at it the opposite way and say, they got this generator here, there's gotta be something going on with the house. So you're running a thin line there, okay? You know, usually maybe a candle or an air freshener or something like that might help a little bit. But again, every situation would be different,
If
you
it's
know?
cat urine in the carpet, you gotta change the carpet. You can
Oh,
wash it.
yeah,
Yeah.
if it's that bad, if it's cats, I do have those big discussions with them people.
And again, all of this is leading to the same thing, which is distractions. You know,
Yeah.
it's also paint. You know, like I mentioned earlier, is that, you know, we're moving into a market where we can't just sell anything and everything. It's not like this was 2-3 years ago. You know, it's, you know, we have to do some things now to maximize the seller's profits. You know, and sometimes that might mean spending a couple dollars in maybe paint, maybe carpet. So, you know, that's something to be present to moving in. Good.
So how do you have that conversation, yeah, if your house smells, or the decor, like it's a nice house, and if you can have somebody to freshen stage or just modernize it, like how do you, get your old grandma stuff out, like how do you nicely say that?
Yeah, for sure. So it's, well, a lot of times I get asked that, so I don't have to say anything. Like, it's weird, like my people are like, they're like overly concerned about their houses, you know? So it's like, I don't get that as often, but, you know, I would say, are you open to making some changes in your layout or your floor plan or something like that? Or are you open to do you have any kind of a budget to make improvements to help your home sell for more and faster? Turn it into like a question, you know?
Something little opposite that, when you go show homes and a house breaks,
Yep.
do you put that down, that house smell?
Absolutely.
I know.
Put it down where in like the feedback.
Like the feedback.
I would appreciate it if people told me that.
Yeah.
I got an issue with the house in Warren,
Yeah.
that it stopped smoking weed in the house.
Yes.
And it's like,
I've
it
been
doesn't
in
bother
that-
me, but it's like,
like that.
You're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
You
but
can smell
it's like,
Right.
people have an issue with that. Yeah, because it's like, honesty is your best policy. I would appreciate it if people told me that so I can communicate it to the sellers. I'm like, hey, this is real.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know. Yeah.
You know, that's a good one too, Nick, because what I do on my listings is for feedback from other agents, I have the seller's email address in there.
Yeah.
So when I get the feedback, it goes directly to the seller.
Yeah, I do the same
So I can tell the seller,
Yep.
don't shoot the messenger,
Right.
Yeah.
okay? So this
Yeah.
is what other agents and their buyers are telling you about what your house is like. And then maybe sometimes if we keep getting a certain kind of thing, we might have to revisit that and have another conversation about what we need to do to correct that condition.
Yeah, so that's 100%. It's like some agents have an issue with that, like they want to be the filter. But it's like the mindset on that is like you did your job, like you photographed the house well. You hired Dawn. See what I did there? That's your sister. No. You know, like you gave guidance on staging. You had the house photographed. You measured the rooms. You have good descriptions. Like that's on you, and you did that well, right? So it's like I have no issues of buyer agent feedback saying that I did something wrong. You know what I mean? Because we do a good job when we publish our listings. So it's like, yeah, I do the same thing. It's like let the community, the buyer community, give feedback on the house directly. So yeah, I think that's exactly right.
We're consultants, we're not screeners.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. Inform and educate. You know. Okay, cool. So, I feel like we've beaten to death staging. Are we good with that? Are we
Do you
good?
know any virtual staging at all before I hear it?
Virtual staging?
Yes. How do you feel about that? Like, you know, that Fox Brown era people, I saw one the other day and it looked amazing. And I saw you put on little notes everywhere, like, staged, you know?
Mhm.
And the vacant homes. What do you, I mean, to get people in to see the visual, is that?
Yeah, virtual. So, are you talking about like that 3D?
Yeah, we put the pictures
Like
in.
where they put the furniture and the decorations and make it look really modern.
Yeah.
On a vacant listing.
Right. Oh, on the vacant listing. Got it.
I think it's always usually on a vacant, I thought, but.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's like, Steve, what do you think?
I've had people get turned off, they walked into the property and stuff and this looks nothing like what they saw online.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like price, and it would the price of the home, because you would have to spend money to do that, you know, so I would have, or you could, if you can maybe do a tier system where the seller pays for it, you know, however you want to negotiate that. Yeah, it's like, it all depends on the market in that price range, you know, if you feel like you need it to help sell the house, then yeah. If you feel like it would sell without it, then might not be
Well,
a,
it's like a lot of times when they, even in real life with any staging or new construction, when it's staged.
oh, like over the top, yeah, like fake cereal in the bowl, like give me a break. Yeah.
All my flips I stage though, I always stage a flip.
Yeah.
I think staging is very important. I think you get more, well, you'll see it in this module, but stage home sell for more and it's sell faster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, actually, let's go back real quick to page 14. Read the stats. Sorry, somebody yelled out. I wasn't clear. That was my fault.
32% of realtors report a 1 to 5% increase in the offer. 16% of realtors report a 6 to 10% increase in the offer. 3% of realtors report an 11 to 15% increase in the offer.
Yeah, so that's real, you know, it's real life. Thank you, good job.
It pays for itself.
Yeah, that's exactly right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, you know, according to the 2015 NAR, the median cost price of a home, you know, staging a home is $675. Very easy to get that back, right? And then some, you know, so, yep, that's exactly it. Down at the bottom, NAR 2013, cost versus value, gardening and landscaping efforts pay off, curb appeal, yep. Yep, for sure. Yeah, I did, but my last listing was 275 in North Macomb, and it wasn't necessarily staged, like hired, but the sellers had good taste. It was just a nicely cared for home that sold for 283. Had they not had that same taste and that pride of ownership, I don't believe that we would have gotten it. You know, so it showed well, it was very nicely decorated, stuff like that. It matters, you know, it definitely matters, and at any point, if you can communicate this to your sellers, I don't think there's, well, I'm sure there's overstaging, but I don't think that you could go wrong by doing it, you know. Go wrong meaning lose money.
Have you ever rejected a listing? Not taking a listing because of the condition of a house, or?
Not necessarily condition, price versus condition, for sure. Yeah, yep, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and staging wasn't going to get it there, you know. And again, that comes down from seller's motivation, you know.
When I sold my house, like in the garage, we did have a really nice garage. Like I put like one of those scentsy things in, kind of like smells like a man's cologne. Like that was kind of the first thing they smelled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then in my house, like I had like, you know, kind of like spa music type playing.
Totally.
When they came,
Yeah.
and I sold it in the first week.
Yeah, like put a scarf over a lamp. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Pier 1. No,
It makes a difference.
yeah, it does. It 100% makes a difference for sure.
You don't ignore the other senses. Very good point.
Yeah.
I go to open houses that way. I'll bring a cinnamon stick with me for the microwave, even if it's a vacant house. A cinnamon stick in the microwave, a little water will actually make the whole house smell like cinnamon.
Yeah.
If girls walk in the door, your noses are alert. I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
I've seen women walk in the door, go no, and walk right back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You want to make it feel like they're going to live there. You know. So cool. All right. So okay, let's go to page 816. We're gonna pivot for a minute. All right, so number 2, now we're marketing the listing. So this is where we're going to talk about how to engineer to get more business from a listing that you take or even a buyer that you sell, okay? So can somebody read the first 3?
Price the home competitively with the current market and price trends. Advise sellers on how to attract buyers by showing their home in the best possible light. Place for sale signs with property flyers easily accessible to drive-by buyers.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. So yeah, like showing their home in the best possible light, that's the staging that we just spoke about, not like daytime, you know. So it's like, you know, advertising its features, right? Okay. 4 through 6. Please.
Respond to all buyer inquiries immediately. Optimize the home's internet presence by posting your property in the Keller Williams listing system, local and global MLS systems, and on social media with plenty of photographs and description of the property. Market the home on multiple websites, including your own site, my KW local office, and KW national sites to attract both local and out-of-town buyers.
Cool. 7 to 10. Somebody else.
Post the home on your branded KW app. Create flyers and comment cards for viewers of the property. Distribute just listed notices to neighbors, encouraging them to tell family and friends about the home. I got a question about 7. I didn't know I had a branded KW app. Could you explain that? I've only been here 10 days.
You have one.
Yeah, you have one. Absolutely. Al.
It's got my name and everything?
Yeah. What we branded you.
Yeah. Yes, you do. I
That's
have no idea. I know I got it. It's been a while. I've had it for a few, you know. It's like.
What is this Keller Williams listing system? KWLS, put your listings in there?
Yep, it's part of the system where to broadcast our listings all over.
Yeah, so like KW has a website, like KW, you know, like home, like Remax's website.
So wouldn't that automatically put in the MLS feed to that as well?
Sure, yeah, you know, but it's just another, you know, this could also be like a private group, you know. I get it's different, but it's like, you know, you're advertising it in-house as well as not just relying on the multi-list to syndicate.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So Nick, what is it that we need to do, like?
About half that list.
Pardon?
About half that list.
Okay, yeah, so let's get into that. So we'll finish this up. Okay, so you.
It's like it was automatically done.
So, yeah, that's exactly right. So, okay, this is a house, right? So let's talk about what you guys do, and then we'll talk about what I do and what other top producers do to like market it above and beyond the internet. All right, so I'll get us started. Okay, so there, you know, so of course there's the MLS, right?
Right.
So that goes without saying. All right, there's also social media,
Yep.
which is your Facebook, your Instagram,
YouTube.
your Snappity Chat, your YouTube, right? So it's like bam, 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 bam. Okay, there's that.
I
All
even
right.
do Pinterest. Does anybody else do Pinterest?
I'm sorry. You all right? You good? What's that? I can't hear you.
Does anybody else do Pinterest? Because I've done
Pinterest, sure. Yeah. And there's a thousand. There's TikTok. There's all kinds of
Okay.
stuff you can do. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
I haven't done Snapchat or.
Right. So that's fine. So yeah, the MLS and social media just listed, right? Just sold.
Sorry, just listed what?
Just listed and just sold, right? Just so like now we're talking about advertising it in its entirety, not just when it lists, but also when you sell it. So just listed and just sold. What kind of? There's a few different things that we can do here. Tell me about.
You could do the postcards.
Postcards, that's exactly right. Postcards cost money, so let's acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And you're running a business, so I think that's fine, you know. But maybe if you're on a budget, maybe a postcard of just sold. Communicate the urgency, right? It's like, hey, just want to let you know your house sold in 48 hours, it sold for 10 grand above asking, and we had some 30 buyers walk through that. Wouldn't you as a homeowner want to know that? So I'm just saying, for sake of budget, definitely do both. But if you got to spend money, maybe focus on it just sold. So anyway.
Call the neighbors.
Yeah, right.
Circle prospecting.
That's yeah, exactly right. That's what this is for sure.
Well, time of the open house too. You know, open
That's
house.
right, open house, yep. Open house.
Usually ways to find buyers, not buyers that property, other buyers, but still, about every 1 out of 8, I sell a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so back this up a little bit. The biggest thing on all of this, and that I would write this down, is people are going to see you working. And you never know who's watching. Never know who's watching, right? So like, let's back that up a little bit. Let's say, you know, door knocking. Let's do another one here, door knocking. DN. So, what would it look like if you took 100 houses on a listing that you just took, and you either called or door knocked saying it just listed. You call or door knock saying, hey, we just sold it. You call or door knocking saying whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like you hold it open, right? Saturday and Sunday.
Shows that you're working.
It shows that you're working, and it's very. If you hit these guys, just so maybe you call and do a newsletter or whatever, a postcard. You know, so it's like the idea. Social media is a big one. So it's like you're hitting not only the house, but you're hitting everybody several times on this. All right, so I feel like this is really important because it's like this is how you pick up other business, right? Listings are a privilege. And we should like be maximizing our efforts. You know what I mean? So thoughts on that? Thoughts, questions so far?
You know what's interesting is when you start door knocking, and it doesn't bother me to door knock. Depending on the day, they're like, it's cold outside. What are you doing outside in the cold? Well, I'm working. I'm working for my client to find his buyer.
That's fair.
So he can move on. And it shows that you're dedicated to get your job done for that client. Does that make sense? I mean,
100%, yeah, you can tell all the suckers. No disrespect, anybody can fall into a sale in the springtime. You know,
Yeah.
because that's when the spring, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's the pure bloods that are out there doing this all year round, you know?
Nick, what do you think the percentages of realtors actually doing this? In reality, in our industry, what do you think the percentage of actually working this hard is?
Yeah.
It's important. Maybe 5%?
Yeah, it's not a lot, that's for sure. It's a lot of, you know,
I can tell you in my own experience, I've done the MLS, the Facebook, I have done door knocking. I haven't done the just sold cards or anything like that, so.
What's that? So, you would go to, it's a KWL, Cohen's Lakeside Private Group on, it's Facebook.
Our
And
Facebook, yeah.
you would, I believe you would have to send an invitation, because it's only us. Sandy quarterbacks that, I think. Let me know if you have problems finding it.
Okay, thank you. You could also go to Nextdoor and subscribe to that neighborhood. For
Yeah, so
Nextdoor.
go ahead.
Yep,
Yeah, I was just
I'm
gonna
on
say
Nextdoor.
You know, some agents are actually creating a website website for that particular property.
Yeah, like a landing page.
Group does it.
We all do it. It's automatic now in MLS. Every listing we put into real
Well, no, she actually goes to GoDaddy and creates one herself for that address.
So she buys another.
It's like $7 or $8 to go.
Yeah, good call.
But there again, now it's gonna go directly to her. It's different than the MLS now, you know, ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. But, you know, but going back to what you're saying here, when we're on a listing appointment, we're informing the sellers, we're showing our value.
Right.
But this is proving it, because now we're back in.
You're in the field. And it's like, the biggest thing on this is that, yes, you're helping this house. But if you did all of this at a high level, what do you think your pipeline would look like?
Huge.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is for this, but it's really for you. You know? At an open house, I would love to sell this house, but it's like, I'm more interested in other buyers. Okay? So, let's talk about that briefly. I wrote this down, launching a house. Okay, launch. There's a lot of top producers do this. It's where you list a house on a Thursday, let it syndicate for that 48 hours, hold the house open Saturday and Sunday, hopefully you review offers on Monday. Do you see how that's a little more purposeful than just all willy-nilly, like list a house on Monday, you know what I mean? It's like nothing wrong with that, but it's like, again.
Launch the house on Thursday.
Yep, so you make it live on Thursday.
Make live.
When you make it live, you're publishing an open house Saturday and Sunday. If you want, I'm not saying, you know, who am I, I'm just saying.
Give a teacher.
And then, you know, and then hopefully, you are reviewing offers on Monday. But here's the thing, all of this matters if this is priced right. So that's why Wednesday was very important, you know? It's gotta be priced right, create that auction, create that excitement, you know what I'm saying?
Nick?
Yes.
And on, just listed, just sold.
Yeah, totally.
Who do you use or resources for?
Command is able to do that. Michael Lewis Marketing Suite is another in-house vendor that uses
Lewis?
Get rid of Michael Lewis.
We don't. Scott Roy. Scott Roy's another one. I was just on his website like 2 days ago.
You can look online too. A great source.
Vistaprint.
So I'm gonna have a gray moment here when you're doing the circle prospecting with the postcards.
Yes.
So we can print them in Command, or we can have them done up in Command,
Yep.
made in Command, and they mail them out. How do they get the mail out addresses?
Command has a third part. I just learned this in the tech tailgate. Command has a third party, like actual, like stamps and
Addresses
Addresses
of the
and
people
stuff like
in the
that.
neighborhood.
in the neighborhood. That's right. Yeah.
So I just give them the address of the house that my listing is at. Design my sold postcard.
I believe you would have to do it yourself.
Yeah, I design my
Yeah, you do it.
postcard.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I send it in and say, this needs to be mailed out. to this neighborhood.
So you guys are gonna wanna talk to Kelsey on this, Kelsey's our
Okay,
marketing
right,
man.
okay.
But my understanding of it, I haven't done it through command yet, but my understanding of it is, it's like a number of houses. Like, not necessarily like a radius or a subdivision.
Right.
I'm not sure, so don't Facebook buy, don't whatever, call me. It's like, so it's because then you have to like measure it, like 100 postcards cost X, 150, et cetera.
Right.
So, yeah.
You want another source to do this is U.S. Post Office has every door direct mail, EDDM.
Okay.
And you
Yes,
go
they
onto
do.
their website and you can pick a route. So one postal route, you gotta buy the whole route, whatever it is. And then you can actually have every person on that route get that same card, and it's cheap, 18 cents a piece instead of paying 50 cents a piece for postage.
Yeah, well, what I've been seeing is a couple $100 a campaign, for a couple hundred doors, So what I totally understand you got a budget for it, and if you're confident that it's going to sell. So the thing about a just sold postcard is a call to action. It's like, hey, this one sold quickly. There were multiple offers on it. I have a lot of buyers looking to buy a house just like yours. Call me for your maximum price analysis, something like that. Picture of the house, maybe a picture of the kitchen. It's all good. Okay, so I want to dig a little bit deeper on social media. So what would it look like if you published the listing on Facebook and tagged your sellers in it? Has anybody ever done that?
Sometimes I'm a little nervous about that because I don't know if they want that out there. So should you maybe ask?
Ask permission, absolutely. I kind of been rolling in my marketing presentation.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, so we're gonna publish your house on literally 5,000 websites out there. Of course, it's gonna be your Zillow, Realtor.com, and it's also gonna be on social media for the sake of exposure. May I tag you in the advertisement?
And ask them to share the tag that you do.
Yeah. So here's the thing on that. And again, this is more about you guys rather than that. Is that you're gonna tag them. And people that you are not friends with are going to like and comment on it. What do you do? What do you do about that?
Contact them.
You contact them. Exactly right.
I saw you like that post. Are you
Yes.
thinking about selling? Are you looking to buy?
I like to work with people just like you. Who do you know is going to buy or sell a house that I can call now? You're engaging people that you don't know. You're direct messaging them on Facebook with a script that said, hey, thank you for the support on the sale of your friend's house. I like to work with people just like you. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in 2020?
Super effective.
All day long, for sure. You can even do this without posts. Okay, you can even make a point to, I'm the DM 20 people a day. You know what I mean? So you can send a video 20 people a day. How about that? So, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's huge.
Yeah.
Tremendous. Yes. Huge. Did you say it's huge?
I said it. Right over here.
You did. Okay. I can't see that. I can't see that. Sorry. What did I tell you? All right. So let's see. Anything that we're missing here? So it's like this could be 2 touches. This could be 2 touches. This is 2 touches, right? This is a touch. 2, 4, 6. I mean, it's very likely that you could hit the neighborhood, 5, 6 times while this is happening. You know what I mean?
Would you do all that, or just pick a couple that you're really good at and just focus on 2 or 3? What would you do, Nick?
Yeah, that's fair. With door knocking, I might be a little bit more relevant. I might only just do the street or the street behind or below it. With just listed, I might do 100. With just sold, I might do 200. Whether that's mailers or whatever, So it's like with just sold, I want to promote the urgency and the activity. With just listed, that's good and everything. But yeah, I don't play with it. My biggest thing is that implement into your business where you're going to do this consistently. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be all of this. It could be 1 thing or 2 things. Go ahead.
I remember in my neighborhood when I would get that just sold,
Yep.
that was effective.
It is effective, yes.
It was.
And you know what I will tell you is about just sold, don't make it about you. Don't make it about how wonderful and awesome you are. Make it about the activity. You know what I mean? It's like, make it about the house, make it about the sellers. Just saying, go ahead.
Nikki doesn't even know this, but before I got my license when we were thinking about moving, Nikki had just got into it, and I seen because I was friends with her on Facebook, and I seen everything she was doing, and I'm like, if I hire somebody, it's gonna be somebody like her.
Yeah.
Like somebody who's got all the energy that's
That's
gonna
exactly
work
right.
hard. So I mean, like, and you don't even know that. Like, I did. I was like, I seen it, and I would have hired you if I didn't become one starting.
So here's the thing on that, and that's exactly right. People want to do business with successful people.
Yeah.
And passionate people. Like with my Facebook lives, I get stuff all the time. Like, I wish I had your passion and your energy. I tell them it's not true, but they don't need to know that. You know what I mean? But it's like, that doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, and that comes to my point a while ago, is that you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You were watching her, she didn't even know it.
Right.
Imagine who's watching you, and you don't even know it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Under social, what is that SPW?
ST, that's a good question. No, that's in Snapchat.
Snapchat.
I'm not on Snapchat, but I know it exists.
Yeah.
You have a budget
Neither am I.
that you spend per house, like at a home house.
Yeah.
You have a budget ahead of time you have set that you advertise for.
You know, that's a good question, and I know for sake of transparency, is that I just moved from a team to a solo agent, so I'm still working through that. Regarding a budget per house, you know, I will definitely do just sold postcards. I'm kind of like more of a like guerrilla lead generate, guerrilla marketing, you know, like meaning like door knocking and stuff that's free, you know, because it's more 7 levels of communication, right? It's like, this is holds more teeth than like a postcard. So yeah, I would say definitely have a budget, play red light, green light, you know. I wouldn't overcomplicate it either, you know what I mean? You could easily print off flyers and you're just paying for postage, you know. So, yep, good question. Cool, okay, so, anything else anything that we're missing? Let's see, I think we did it, right? And I think this is kind of the fun part, you know, like people think, you know, agents kind of think the appointment is the fun part, which it can be, but I think this is the cool part, you know? If you got a listing that's priced right, and it's nice and it's good condition, you know it's gonna sell quickly, that's kind of cool, you know what I mean? It's like something to celebrate, advertise, and tell the world about it, you know? Cool? Anything else on that? Alright, so, what do you guys think? You guys want to degenerate? No. Yeah, go ahead.
You asked us what we're doing to lead generate at the beginning of the class.
Yes.
What do you do?
What do I do? Tell me more about what you're asking.
What do you do to lead generate? How do you build your database?
5 physicals a day, 10 circle call contacts, 5 SOI and past client contacts, 15 a day. What's that? For sale by owner. Private seller. They are looking to, generally they're looking to either sell it themselves if they don't need your help or they want to save the commission. Circle calling is just listed, just sold, right? It's called circle calling the neighborhood. So like you take a house, you know, like let's say that like, here's the house, right? You call the neighborhood. Using browsers.
It doesn't need to be your listing.
Absolutely not. It could be any listing. Hey, you own a house. I sell houses. What are you looking to do? You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it does not have to be your listing. Absolutely not. No. Good question.
As long as it's KW's though.
No, not
We
necessarily.
can call on everyone's.
Yeah, just don't say, don't lie. You know? You can say, hey, yeah, a house just got listed in here. All right, so time on task. There's something that you could do. Go into the multi-list. Go pending homes in Shelby, whatever your area. Organize those pending houses to days on market. So let's say you got a house for $250, it's sold in 0 days, 1 day, 2 day. Generally, it's likely they had a lot of activity on it, right? And it's likely that it may have sold for over asking. You can't commit to prices when you're on the phone, but that's not the point. It's the urgency, you know? So, hey, I just want to let you know this house went up for sale, and we sold it got sold in a day. You know, it's likely going to sell for above asking. We don't know that yet, but a lot of buyers looking to move in your area. What are you looking to do? You know?
How do you get their numbers? I know it's your browser, right?
Yep, Russers. There's like I believe there's a zip code, and there's an address bar. I use a dialer, so I'm a little bit different. You know, you all could like get together and maybe 2, 3 get split a dialer. Super affordable. You know.
Is that more updated than Bressers? Because Bressers is
Generally, yes, yep. I don't want to like have you guys spend a bunch of money, but it's like you are running a business and there's going to be cost of sales with the business. I'm not saying you have to get $1 right now. I would hammer your database before you do any of that. Get 5-10 transactions under your belt, and then you can start.
What does a dialer do
A dialer allows a couple different things. And first of all, it's an electronic database. It's a website. And you call into that website, and there's data in there. There's for sale by owner data, there's expired data, and there's neighborhood data. So you put in the address and populate a list. It scrubs lists of do not calls, and it allows you to call either 1 line at a time or 3 lines at a time to maximize your efforts.
Where do you find that?
It's called Mojo, MOJO, DIAL,
Or there's Vulcan 7.
There's Vulcan.
Vulcan 7.
Vulcan's more expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, their data is supposed to be better.
Is that?
Yes.
Then,
That's what I hear. I'm more familiar with Mojo than I am with Vulcan. You guys on a dialer? You got Vulcan, how do you like it?
Amazing.
Okay, good. Steve, you on a dialer?
And you're on a team?
We're on Facebook. Josh.
Mojo. MOJO dialer.com. Which is why I was saying in the beginning, door knocking is free. Just listen and just sold. You know what I mean? You can get with a lender and they can hook you up with flyers. That's free. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you guys got to spend all this money, but I'm just saying is sometimes, you know, it's a lead generation business. If you want to lead generate at a high level, get yourself some tools.
If you get the Mojo dialer, it's $99 a month, and then if you get the neighborhood search, that's another $40, so it's $139 a month for the basic.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a la carte, you know, so like it's not like an all or nothing thing. So your call, it's your world. I'm just living in it. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's take 20 minutes and lead generate, right? That's what we're going to do. So here's my thing. Whoever you're calling, I challenge you to, when you call, like let's say you're calling your database, I challenge you to, when you call, send a video voicemail instead of like a normal, maybe do it via text.
I have to figure how to do that. I was Googling, it just hit me the other day and I was
Do you have an
Googling it. Yeah.
Dude, video, send text. Super simple. Right there, right to it in there. That's exactly right. They know, like, and trust you. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so it is 10:20. You were told to bring information with you to lead generate. We will reconvene at 11:45.
Morning, this is a video.
Cool.
Testing. And then we should get that started.
First. You can create it in a month.
Yes, and then.
Jesus. God bless you. You're all out.
So if you look at, I think I listen to myself. And you know that 29%. I know the guy making $100,000. So I can look at here and see everything in the neighborhood. Really focus.
And which one is that? Does Al want to stop the Facebook Live since we're doing?
I'm not sure what he does.
Super excited for
You use that, US Postal Service.
OMG, the universe. Okay, so, hang on a second. I just got a tag. Realtor friends, can you tell me some pros and cons of your profession? I'm looking to get my license. Okay, so pass mine, tag me in this, and why don't we send her a video? You want to do that? Everybody together?
Go ahead.
You want to do it? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Alright, we'll come over here.
We video you?
Yeah.
So you like your postcard, you give it out to the post office.
Yep, got it. Oh, the point of okay. Oh, good call, good call. Yeah, hi Joey, this is Nick Tracy with Keller Williams Lakeside Realty. I just saw that Cindy Bishop tagged me in a post of yours, and as I understand it, you're looking to get your real estate license. You called me at a good time. I'm actually teaching a class here with Keller Williams. Everybody say hi. Hello. I'm going to drop my phone number in the message. You know, if I have to call, you can shoot me a text. I'd love to carve out some time and talk to you about what you can accomplish. Talk soon. See you. Bye.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so
somebody even shows you that. That's awesome.
I feel like that and it was a nice you know.
Good job. Like,
That's probably my
yeah, that's probably right.
so far.
Yeah.
This video. What I thought about.
It's so good. And then you post a video on Facebook.
So yeah, cool, man. We're all good.
You're getting really comfortable in front of the camera.
What's that?
So do you
Comfortable in front of the camera.
is that information?
Yeah, I guess so. My last one sucked. Next week, I'm gonna teach how to tie an ascot. Yeah, I got like 4. Yeah. I did not. Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Yeah, right. Silver hair. Anyway, she got. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, no, she's got it. For sure.
So can you do a flyer, send it to them, and then they.
Yeah. What? videos. And then
You can document
publishes it in your life. You know, you get that notification when it's live, right? And it's live. I'm not like, oh no, he didn't, you know what I mean? I'm not like taking a video because it's like, I'm just taking that. You know, I spent time on it. So like, because like, yeah.
Exposure wise, you get more that way?
Yes, I basically just did more.
Notification or just in general?
And it's like people, as they get better, it's like live videos, because there's vulnerability.
So that,
Right.
So, and you can track it as well, so, you know, it's all good.
right.
Yeah, no, you gotta work a lot.
Right.
Is there anything I can answer for you?
Well, see,
Is there?
that's where I got to
All right.
get the emails.
I don't want to get better. Cool, nice, good, well, how's something going? Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Perfect. So you're out there with us.
You go in tomorrow and come to your ad. Oh, I see you're all you can turn it on Facebook.
We'll see. I always get, so this is my information. I always get
That's I spend a lot of money on Facebook.
I was in Troy this week. Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
How was it going to you guys?
It's good. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I mean, more
You said there was
information
an
than I
inflection
know.
at the end.
Oh.
How do you do?
That's
No.
Yeah, totally.
So there's
So
some
we're
work
doing it over
Yeah.
him and the other guy, Chris is not really. So it was
Yeah.
high school.
I'm not
I mean,
gonna
he's
say
smart.
it.
He's got mark now.
Okay.
It was bad last
So some of it is
So
reading from this point.
I got one person
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Saturday, and then
Okay,
Sunday.
okay,
Cool.
That came in, I got their information, and I talked to a couple of, well, I talked to a couple of them. One of them yesterday was like, we've dealt with filters, and I don't need anything, and I just put them on a drip without. Just send it to them. They
Or your place.
They
sorry.
said all the workers that
Every
they
other
had
time,
just
yeah, I was like,
don't want to work with them anymore. And so I said,
Why do you have this?
I don't know.
Yes, why do you have this? So, I also have that in the So the bottom line is it's free for me to represent the buyer house.
oh,
If
yeah,
you want
yeah.
that for your sensation, they have a high quality So,
Well,
I love that one. They're very strong.
so we're saying,
So let's say for
Yeah.
so let me ask you, your strategy to get the most buy money for your house and say it doesn't have
Yeah.
You're telling me? What do you mean? Subtract 5%. It's proving you can't.
right,
Yeah.
You're hiring this week.
I have hundreds of people.
Well, to invite you to make that happen in your money.
So what is it? I'm just having some for some people that I've talked to on the phone and have said, yeah, we're thinking about it, but we don't really know how to start.
Yeah.
To learn how to.
So it's just you and me, you're the only realtor that we have that kind of.
Yeah, I requested this.
Okay.
And then I called some vendors, and then once everyone said yes, we put together. So it's next Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And we had about 6 people just yesterday. I had 6 people. Yeah, but if I even get one sale, I feel like we're good. Because all I'm buying is coffee and all the vendors are bringing down. So it's a bunch.
Yeah.
So it's worth a shot. I mean, if I get 1 or 2 customers out of it,
What are you gonna talk about?
well, and you're doing this for a half hour, they're just gonna go over what has to be done before you buy or sell your home. And then it's a question and answer. So they can use that or there's some training information and I have folders of ideas. It's worth a shot.
Sure, yeah.
If nothing else, it looks good on people that can try.
Yeah.
Maybe yourself with this, like you said.
Absolutely.
Phil mentioned the coaching session. It was great. I'm not doing general coaching, but I'm teaching.
Well, I will.
So I haven't been to shoot, so it's like, also during the night, so it's been 9 hours already.
So,
Yesterday, Wednesday, I got email from John's coaching session.
so
But it's just so awesome, and then moved it to and I hadn't done it. Sometimes I use it as a
I track sales ratings on social media.
Yeah. Which is pretty much right now, for January, February.
I don't want to connect later. Okay, to do something. And now Southern Caribbean. Southern Caribbean. Yeah. Where, yeah, and then I said, I was okay, we're leaving February 22nd. I wait to leave. Yeah, or at 1 year.
I'm sure once it's all real Caribbean.
Yeah.
There you go. $100.
What I am.
Your house can be lost. No, it's just, it's one, county MLS. Flat fees. Here we go. 300 bucks.
We're doing the ABC. We're going there and first sell and we
Why
have
would
a expand team.
you pay all this person for 4%?
So it's bond here,
Base
then
4%.
it's
But, yeah, I used to actually.
Oh, you did?
How would you do that?
And the only part of it, I have to do
When I used to,
It's us,
one
yeah.
year,
Other ones.
you would have the person negotiate.
No, that's us. We're one out of Fort Lauderdale, though, actually. For our-
Lose 10 grand.
I mean, that's crucial.
Mine's 8.
Yeah, I want to go longer.
I have to set up an appointment for Wednesday. A neighbor behind over on the side. He's wanting to know whether we should sell now or
No.
Hey, how you doing, girl?
Of course, yes. Totally. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I mean, if you're paying for them, then no. I mean, we do the interior, you know, nothing as well. More or less. So mine are littler, but.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean,
I've never been an engineer, I did a,
That's
First
fine.
two guys,
That's great. That's what the offer is accepted, then during our inspection, they're all inspections done. I don't want to waste any time until we know that they'll accept our offer.
Oh, yeah. If it was just me and my husband, I think we could do that all the time too.
well, I would compromise.
Fair enough, I can try to
Angry
get
high for the maximum price that you can sell and ask him when he's okay with like, okay with his money, like, with his money out. If he is, we'll do it. If not, like nobody has like a crystal ball.
Right.
We can't push the market. So we don't know if it's gonna go up or down. And you're saying that
much bigger
there are cheaper houses being built. It's, I don't know if an appraiser would acknowledge new constructions. So that's a whole other thing, you know, so, if it makes sense for them in real time, then run with it.
Right.
You know?
Well, bottom line, if you're having this in there, new construction, your value's dropping.
Have you ever,
Because people are not gonna spend the same amount of money for a fifteen-year-old house they're gonna rent.
I did, I don't know twice, I've never done it. The first one was.
It could be property value. It could be people waste rate, block.
No, I have the, I can find another one stuff, right? Yeah.
Big thing that is, like, all right, well, here's my basement, let's get a house that's nice, spend X amount of time.
And then we
Get you a
on,
low BS, bottom line type model. And then from there, oh, you want granite? You want this?
Well, maybe,
Now, some of them are not. But I just call them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I actually didn't get that,
Saturday. So instead of saying, I just did that, I called and said, yeah, I'm hosting a free event. It would be great. I'm thinking about buying yourself a start free event. I'd love to see you there, but can I send you the invitation? And so they'll either do it themselves or a text or an email.
I'll send you a picture of the sign.
What if we're being a celebrity?
That's smart.
As long as I give it to, as
What's
long
the
as
event?
I'm filming. So I have vendors come.
I'm kind of excited. Prices in our area,
But like, I got it. But it's Jeff, that's coming here, so warranty.
Yes.
So, yeah.
the base model, basic ways.
House buying, I love it. But they're cheap. Next door photos, and it's great. Short introduction, Wade. So when they show up here, I can tell them.
Or at least some information. Cocktails.
So they're ready to sell. Enjoy them. Actually, 2 to 3 months from now, making this rail full. They'll have this folder with all the no, they're not. But it's worth a shot, and it looks good.
So, how do you get, like, reach out to Steve and the rest of them and say,
Make sure I get this room, yes, they asked me, and then once I said yes. For warranty, I know I need an inspector. So I just kind of threw it all together and started asking people for it now. And they all went over there.
smart idea.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they've got invested.
Right. So now when I reach the house that I'm fighting, you know, on everything, you're bad. I'll let you know.
I'm so excited to work.
I want to do it again
Tax laws.
and just kind of make it work.
So, she responded to that message. She said, haha, that was fantastic, thank you for the explanation. So, I just dropped my cell phone, we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I know.
Her baby in September, like, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that.
But I want to do it. And I'm
Eventually, you should get something.
And
Yeah.
they come to one and they might tell their friend, oh, she's holding as a red.
You get the wrong person off, if you're gonna walk
It
over
doesn't
that
cost me
traffic.
anything, free coffee and yogurt.
I'm guaranteed.
Based on how many people I know are coming, because they have to call their text. They're gonna save their spot.
Absolutely. They're going to sell it.
I just got called.
Fair
I'm
enough.
calling to invite them, but I'm not trying to talk to them on the phone.
Yeah, yeah.
People
Well, I think that's a great way of
You were gonna turn that off?
asking for business.
Yeah.
Facebook
They
Live.
respond
The
a
Facebook
lot
Live.
better because you're not asking.
Trolling.
I'm giving them.
Yeah, it's like, it's more, you're trying to provide value.
Right. It's an item. So I'm in my farm, I'm in the position now where I gave them a calendar the first of the year. I'm gonna do flyers in the summer. This weekend. And then I'm gonna call that one.
Well, yeah.
Say, hey, did you get the flyer? So now I give them the calendar, gave them a calendar, gave them a call.
It's a reason to call after you
You don't have to come over. It's a lot easier conversation than we have.
Right.
I was talking about it themselves now, they like, for the in my area. So I'm excited, I'll let you know how it goes.
Tell Steve Hines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, I actually prepped the videos.
Next one, I'm sure they'll.
Dude, Al, you prepped the video?
You're the man about it.
But that's why I like. I don't think
Yourselves know
or you wait a year and a half.
Alright, y'all, 10:45, who did the video? Anybody do video?
Like, I'm making some of my friends.
and goes right to.
Better.
So I have the year and a half.
What's that, why the?
Because he doesn't really
That's smart.
do you see where I'm at?
I think.
That's really neat. I have a lot of stuff on social media that's not.
It's like, I don't know how to, I know how to get it on my desktop, but I'm not sure. Cause like, I'm like,
I think it's fun. My house in Southern Township.
Alright, y'all, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's reconvene, back in session, please. So, anybody do a video?
I heard something.
Heard somebody?
No, I'm not sure.
I did a test on my husband, but that was about
It's okay. Becca, how was it?
It's good. I also send like voice memos
Yep,
to my past clients that have iPhone,
yep.
and I actually just got one.
See?
Does it have to be
I'm on task.
iPhone only?
Over time.
Does it have to be iPhone only? It'll play on any.
It'll play on any device. It might translate a little differently, like not the language, but like how it gets played. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure. I have an Apple.
Yeah, so do I.
So yeah,
Okay.
But no, you're right. Apple, no problem. Apple, Android, you'll be fine. I just don't know how that shows up. Maybe if you want to send a, I don't know. So.
Sometimes the quality is a little worse, but usually it works.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
It always kind of depends, you know.
Cool. Good to know.
That's something to know. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna watch a video on open houses. This takes about 10 minutes, and this is about how to effectively hold an open house.
Hi, I'm Chris Flores, and I'm here to tell you the 5 steps to holding an effective open house. Step 1, strategically select the home you want to hold open. Choose a home that gives you the greatest potential to have buyers and sellers find you. This might be a home that isn't a great traffic pattern, whether that be car traffic or people walking by in a walkable neighborhood in your community. Select a home around a local event where neighbors or even out-of-town people might be stopping in. Step 2 of holding an effective open house is advertising and marketing. Marketing begins a week in advance of any open house you might hold open. Begin by posting internet ads a week before. Get a sign in the yard and let neighbors and passerbys know that the home will be open later in the week. Remember to contact both by phone and email any internet leads or phone calls you received on that listing prior to the open house. Don't forget to make 50 calls around the home prior to the open house and door knock. A radius of about 2 or 3 blocks. Step 3, know your strengths. Know where you're going to stay to greet the visitor. Know what questions you're going to ask while they're in the home. One of the greatest first lines you could use is, "Thanks for stopping in to tour my open house. Are you one of the neighbors, or are you out shopping for a home today?" Immediately you'll know if you're dealing with a potential buyer or a potential seller. Step 4 is keep the right mindset and prepare. Remember, open houses are lead generation activities, so enter with the mindset of a top lead generator. Prepare yourself with comparable properties, market research, at least 2 or 3 other homes that you could potentially show should the opportunity arise. And step 5, always follow up with every lead that comes through that door. Call them, email them, write thank you notes that same day. A simple follow-up script to use directly after an open house goes like this. "Thanks for stopping into my open house this morning. It was great to meet you. I did a little bit of digging in the office after we met and after the open house and found 3 other properties that really fit your search criteria. I know the home that we saw this morning wasn't quite perfect, but these 3 have some real potential. We could get into them tomorrow at 4 or at 6, which would work better for you." Great, let's meet at my office and we can go from there. My biggest aha when doing open houses is remembering open houses are not a technique to keep current sellers happy. In reality, open houses are great lead generation tools to connect with potential future buyers and sellers. By using effective scripts and systems leading up to the open house and great follow-up techniques after the open house, you'll build a met database of future buyers and sellers. Thanks for watching KW Connect and make it a great day.
All right, ahas on that, thoughts?
Lead generation.
No, it's all
Follow up is the biggest thing.
Advertise a week before.
Find
Start your
an
advertising.
open house in a good area for traffic so people can see it better.
Yep, all good points. Yeah, because it's like, for sure, market it, and who's to say we can't use some of these strategies for an open house? Door knock, let the neighbors know about it, maybe send out a mail or drop off flyers, no reason why you can't do that, right? What else?
How do you do that?
Oh, with mine, I've got a flyer. I got a 1-page.
Oh, you have a
listed
one that has
on Thursday and hold an open house
the
that
address.
weekend. How
And
do you
do they-
advertise it if you had a
I can show you how.
Yeah, that's fair, and again, that's 2 different things, right?
exposure? Yeah, we need as much as you.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of that you're relying on internet syndication. So like in your remarks, when you publish a house for sale, you would put it in there straight away. And so that way, yeah, we are relying on multi-list and popular consumer websites for that, because that's where they get the data from. So yeah, 2 different strategies. The idea behind the Thursday launch is to drive a lot of activity to the house over the weekend, whether that be buyer agents and buyers or just consumers. It's creating urgency for the house itself. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a good point. Several ways to do things.
I like his open script. I use it on my open house all the time, right? Are you one of the neighbors or are you looking to buy the area today? It tells me what's a potential listing or if it's buyers.
Yeah, for sure. Like where to pivot, Yep, that's exactly right. Somebody said follow up.
Yep.
Is that, yeah, so the fortune is in your follow up no matter what you do. So 70% of your business is going to come from follow up. That is, if you haven't heard that, that is a big thing to take away from today. Go ahead.
How much lead time do you need to get marketed on the MLS as an open house? So it can get through the system, so it gets on Zillow and all that stuff for open house, you know?
Yeah, you know, so problem with that is that there's no specific, Zillow's gonna do it whenever they want, you know? It could take 5 minutes, it could take 12 hours, you know? So my advice is to get it on there sooner rather than later. Certainly, if you're gonna do the Thursday strategy, make sure you have all that lined up before you publish it for sale.
So when you communicate to the MLS, you haven't scheduling an open house, it's automatically gonna flow through to the other internet?
That's right, yeah, that's right, yep, yep, that's exactly right, go ahead.
So you're saying when you do open house over the weekend, Thursday is actually a good day to do it?
So like, there's a strategy that some top producers do. It's called like launching the property, is where they put it live in the MLS on Thursday. They wait Thursday and Friday for it to get to where it's got to be, syndicate to all the websites, and they hold it open Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
The idea behind that is that driving a lot of activity to the house in a short amount of time.
Okay.
We did delay marketing, so like if the seller wasn't available to get the house ready for 21 days, we had a form that we filled out, and then we would like say it's coming soon, coming soon, coming soon.
Can you do that now?
Not here.
Yep, can't do that per.
You gotta do that next camera, 40 out.
Yeah. This place, yeah.
Okay, so there's.
No, coming soon. Coming soon, the whole area. You can't advertise coming soon. If, you know what I mean, if it's not like live on the MLS.
Because there's no access.
There's no access. Yeah, I don't really know. That's like a do cold feet question. I don't know why. I mean, some people do it still, you know, it's the, you know, I don't know.
Construction?
No, that's different because like you could still advertise like a lot for sale that's being built. That's something completely different because it's advertised. You know, it's in the MLS. Just because it's not ready, that's something different. You know.
A question on the timing.
Take 1 second.
Okay.
What do you think is appropriate to call them? Next day, every time?
Who's that?
I went by the command. There's an open house smart plan in command.
For follow-up calls?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess regarding follow up, talking about a few different things here. You know, it depends on who you're following up with. You know,
if simple open houses.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, maybe even depending on how your conversation goes at the open house, maybe follow up with them later on that day, you know, or the day after. You know, like you want to add value while you're face to face. Because again, if they don't like house A, I would be prepared with house B, C, and you know what I mean, other houses B, C, and D, however many is in their parameters. You know, and you got to learn that. You know, like is this. Sorry, you could, you know, ask questions. You know, it's kind of like a pre-qual. Like, okay, you know, so this house in Macomb, are you looking at any other areas? What brought you to this house in the first place? You know, get them talking.
Yeah.
So this price is at $275. Are you comfortable in that price range? You know, so it's like you want to be prepared to pivot if they don't like the house. You know, that's building your pipeline.
From a timing standpoint, I think we have to have paperwork in within 48 hours after the listing, right? Right?
Yep.
So let's say the house, you get the listing, but the house needs some work. Needs, you know, before you want the house to look right, so it has to have staging and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
For a period of time, and it may take a while.
Yep.
So what do you do with the listing paperwork?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't want to speak on that because I don't want to tell you wrong. You know, I know that. I think you can even do like an addendum, like something in writing saying it will be live on this date. You know, I would say talk to Doug or somebody with leadership on that. I don't want to tell you wrong, you know, because like a lot of my listings are ready to go. Because I pre-qual them to where I'm not going out if the house isn't ready for another month, you know. So so it's like I've never had to have a listing and it take forever to be live, you know. So I'd say talk to leadership. That way you're getting like the right information, you know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Facebook Live, I'm like. So anyway, yeah. So follow. Yeah. So it's like you have an open house, and you know you let's say you come across 5-10 buyers. It's like following up with them to the extent of how you feel, how quick they're looking to buy. You know, if they say 6 months, it's probably closer to 2 or 3 months. You know, so actively, you know, you get them talking about what they're looking to do and what they're looking to accomplish. Not just, because like some buyers that come through, they think that it's that house or nothing. You know, and you want to say, hey, you know, if you want this house, that's okay. What are you looking for? Let me help you. And now you're pivoting to a buyer agent, you know? Does that make sense? Steve, you got anything for open houses?
I have a lot for it, but open, don't assume they're anything. Talk to them about what they need. About half the buyers are sellers too. They gotta have something to sell typically.
Yep.
And then I like to reverse engineer it. Okay, looking to move in the next 6 months. Well, the whole process takes around 3.5 months if I'm the greatest agent in the world to find a house today. So maybe getting together in a few months is a better idea than waiting until 6. So I future pace them out of show them what the system takes so they know how fast they should be looking. And find out what their whys are, same way. It's motivation.
Yeah, and then like, you know, if the conversation warrants it, asking them, hey, if you know, okay, if there's a financial benefit to you getting this done in before 6 months, is that something you want to talk more about? You know, make it about that. So, like financial, what's a financial benefit? Okay, if you're a seller and you know you list in the next 2-3 months, there's likely going to be more competition, more active houses, which makes your house less in demand. You know, so there's that. Whatever, you know, with buyers, interest rates are still really low right now. We don't know if the future is going to hold, but right now it's very affordable for buyers to borrow money. You know, and just let them think what they want to think about that. You know. Cool. Anything else on that?
Here's a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Well, first, also back to the thing about the coming soon. So
Yep.
our broker, they did say we can, as long as we have that signed listing agreement, in that 48 hours, we can put
Yes,
that on
that's
the
yep.
page,
That's right.
advertise to us agents, but we can't do it on like our normal Facebook page and tell everyone else, just our normal Facebook page for the group. But so as far as trying to pick up those buyer leads, how do you? Obviously, you're trying to work with the seller for the open house, so you don't want to catch them though also right before they walk on the door, like, oh hey, do you want to see other one? You know, like how do you try to feel them out ahead of time to see if this is a good fit or?
Yeah, that comes from asking questions, you know, and not questions like, do you like this house? Because that leads to like a yes or no. You know, maybe say, what brought you to what do you like about the area? What are you looking for in your new home? You know, like use the open house as kind of like a location for a buyer consultation, you know, whether it's that house, and then you're going to learn if it is or is not that house, you know? So it's like, yeah, that is asking good questions. You know, like what are some questions that you would ask at an open house?
Can you see your family living here?
Yep, pain versus pleasure, like it.
Do you follow them around?
I usually have 4 or 5, I call them ambush points, but points of interest points in a house. When I walk in the door, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming to the open house, you a neighbor or shopping today.
Yep.
I go, you know, I'm going to be over here. Need me? Let me know. I'm not going to here to push you around or you know, unless you want a guided tour, I can do guided tours. I smile and talk, but most people say no. And a few say yes. But from there, I find spots in the house that I know are nice spots.
Makes sense.
When the crowd molding the kitchen, let's come up behind them and talk to them a little bit. And then before they get ready to leave, I go over things on their questionnaire. So, can you see your family living in this house? Is this the house for you guys? And if it's no, then well, great. I have access to any home in the market. I don't care who lists it. So, what is your ideal house? And I go over that information there. And that's how I capture that information for people.
Do you have good success at getting people visiting an open house to give you, fill out a form, to put their name, address, phone number, stuff in?
I do.
Yep.
But mine are 1 page. I have a half-page form that it's individual per person. I hand them this. And I say, it's a questionnaire for the homeowner. Let me know what you like and don't like. People love giving their opinions. And then near the end when they're walking around, I take that back from them and I say, you know, so what do you think is the house for you? And I flip my form over and it's got the type of house they want. So what are you looking for? A 4-bedroom house. And I actually put this information on here, what they're looking for, flip it back over and have them read to me their phone number and their email off what they wrote down so I know it's correct.
Give them a clipboard?
Yeah, it's this little mini clipboard, dollar store, get you for $1 at a dollar store. But mine are little half-page deals. If you want to email them, I can send them to you. Steve Phillips at KW.com. Little half-page deals in the front have your basic information, name, address, phone number. And then, do you have an agent? Yes, no, maybe. And don't believe all the yeses. Sometimes you want to say yes so you stop bugging them.
Yeah, or yes just means they talk to somebody. It's not like an actual relationship.
And my question, like you would do is, let me ask you a question. Do you have something signed saying they're working for your best interest? Because you probably know every agent say to Michigan works for the seller by default. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then most people say, oh, I didn't know that. Well, I don't care who you hire. me or anybody else, make sure they're working for you in your best interest. Is that fair? You go, oh, okay, so you give us a little tidbit of information that helps them. And I find that opens the door much easier that way. That's how I do it, and I do quite well at open houses.
Yeah, it's like, you're coming at them from like a consultative approach, like you're defusing the pressure of a salesperson, you know?
Don't beat them up and don't sit on the couch watching a football game. Actually do your job. I see it happen all the time. I go through open houses, the guy says,
oh yeah, for sure.
Get the house out and watch a football game. What are you doing?
Right.
When I go
Yeah,
to
totally,
open
I've seen
houses,
that. Yeah.
I take the listing tickets of similar homes, so that if they are on the way out the door, I'd say, here's 3 that are similar. I would love to take you, and your name and number, everything's on the bottom.
You can do a 6 per page deal from the MLS.
Yeah,
from
you
the
can.
print.
I like
Hey,
the
Steve,
bigger
that's
ones.
what I do. Steve Phillips at KW.com. Steve Phillips, PHILLIPS at KW.com.
You know, another thing probably you can do is I have like your computer open, your hotspot, and like maybe like with a map, and just say like, hey, you know, like these are some others in your area. Have you seen these? You know, just to guide them, get them talking. You know, so yeah, it's all good. And then also, so regarding marketing an open house, put it on your social media, right? Because again, that's not, you know, you want people at the open house, and yet people are going to see you working.
Great place for a Facebook Live.
Facebook Live open house, yeah, that's exactly right. Facebook Live your new listings. That's another thing you got to put on there. You know, you're touring it.
I found out Nextdoor. I don't know if Nextdoor is very active, but there's another place that you can advertise.
Be careful though, you'll get kicked out.
Yeah.
Will you? If you do too
I got
many,
kicked out.
or
If you do too many.
Oh, they have paid
want you to
realtors. They do have
join
paid certain people
become a
next door.
business.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, they kicked me right out, yeah. Within like a day.
Yeah.
Something that I just recently started doing at my open houses is when they come in, I give them a card and a pen with my info on it. Cards, they have a tendency to throw away, brochures, they throw away.
Pens last a few days.
Yeah,
Pens?
totally.
Yeah, well, give them something,
Something about
a chip clip or
Right.
something on that where
Fridge magnet.
that they're
Yep.
gonna use on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna tend to keep that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's I 100% agree. For sure.
And then I
Give
just
them
kinda
something
knock-
a little bit. Yeah.
And then I just kind of knock them out and tell them that, you know, the seller just would like if you don't mind, putting down your information, and I'll have it on the kitchen counter or something for them to sign. I usually stay around the board, I just kind of let them go through it.
Yep.
And then as they're kind of touring around, when they're getting by me, I might ask them, this is, you know, so how long have you been looking for a property? Are you
Yep.
just starting the process? Or are you working with a professional to help you through this?
Totally.
Kind of thing?
It's all good.
Kind of
Questions?
nonchalantly thing.
Yep. Questions. Yeah, because like questions, you know, it helps with moving down the funnel. You know.
But this pen, I tell you, they really like it.
No, I hear you. So my
For
For sure. You know where to find me. No problem. All right, cool. So we're gonna move. Page 22. Communication checklist. So,
It's like you say,
pivoting away from open houses.
What page are you on?
Page 22. Or it's my page 22. It's the communication checklist.
Yeah.
You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is regarding communicating with the sellers. We touched on this at the beginning of the session. You know, sending videos or sending something after every checkpoint in the process. Let's read through these and we'll talk about it. So can somebody read the first 3 communication tips?
Follow preferences. Always ask and learn about your customer's preferred communication method and timing. Is it phone, email, text message, twice a week? Match style in person or on the phone. Always seek to match their communication style. Always update. Update should happen even when there may be no new information to share. If there is no news, consider if there needs to be changes in condition, price, or both.
Cool. What do you guys think about that so far? Yes? Like it?
Yeah.
Like it? Yeah. Yes, good. I concur. Right. Yeah, I think it's a big deal to ask, hey, how do you want to be communicated with? It's like, it eliminates guesswork, you know? It's like with more guesswork, your bandwidth runs thin, you know what I mean? So just ask. and of course stick to it. So like, how do you, so like there's a lot of different ways to do this. How do you guys communicate with your sellers after showings? Do you do it after every single showing? Do you do it weekly? Do you do it daily? How do, what does that look like for you guys?
I do follow-up Fridays with
Okay.
my sellers.
Good.
Although if I have showings, I give them that communication right off the bat. You know, if there's any feedback from the showings.
Of how it went, sure.
Yeah.
Got that.
Otherwise, it's just follow-up Fridays.
Yep.
For me, it fluctuates, depends on how hot the house is. If I
Yep,
get
that's what I was
4 or
looking
5 showings a day, then I might talk with them 2 or 3 times a week with the feedback.
Yep.
Or if I'm only getting like 1 showing periodically and I get feedback, then I'll call my client and say, hey, did you get the feedback? Have you had a chance to read through it yet or whatever?
Yep.
So it fluctuates, just.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, depending on the property itself. Yeah. What's the appearance policy? But she does days, right?
What was the question?
Sorry.
I don't remember either. So
How
just
do
kidding.
you follow up with your sellers?
How often do you
How
follow
often?
up?
Oh,
Tuesday status quo.
Tuesday? Cool.
Tuesday.
Yeah, good, yeah. So, awesome. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, as often as needed. And with that, I would say, you know, under promise and over deliver. Because people want to know, like, well, I mean, it sounds like we have a couple of home sellers in here, you know, it's like when showings happen, you want to know what's going on. So yeah, I would say, you know, over communicate, even when there's nothing to say. That's a big thing as well. No update is an update in and of itself, you know, and then that's when you might have to have a price reduction conversation, something to move the needle. You know what I mean? So, okay, cool, good on that. So over the next next couple.
Be prompt, always respond as soon as possible or on the expected schedule.
Yep.
Never talk down. Always communicate as a partner with your customer and keep a log. Maintain a communication log in your EDGE database so you're always reminded of what was said in the last contact. Read your log before you call.
Yep. Always include all decision makers for sure. Always be enthusiastic, positive. Yeah, absolutely right. So, you know, another thing that's not on here is that I would check in and just say, hey, how is this going for you? You know, like regarding their experience, maybe, you know, with their wholesale. You know, like you might already know, but you're going to get information that you're not going to get it had you not asked. You know, so let's say, you know, that you listed, they had 10 showings and you got an offer. 4 days later, hey, you know, so now that we wrapped up through your sale, you're now pending. I just want to ask, how is this going for you? Let them talk. Anything that I could be doing better or different. You know, like ask for that feedback as a kid because it's really gonna cement you. You know, and you're more likely to get a review. That's another thing. They'll review expectations.
Where do you suggest those reviews? I just had someone ask me, they're like, I'll put them anywhere you want, where do you want them? And I don't know where the best places are. We did Facebook and Zillow.
Yep.
And he goes, I'll do other places too.
Right, well, that's good.
I'm like, that's great, but yeah, I didn't know what's the most effective. Is it Google or, I mean?
I hear that Google is the one that kind of, not Yelp. No, yeah, that's, I didn't mean to say it like that. Like Yelp is like, it's like, that's for like pizza reviews, you know? So it's like, I hear that Google kind of casts the biggest net. And I think that there's a practice amongst real estate agents that whatever you're going to do it consistently. You know, make sure that you have reviews consistently on either one platform or all the platforms.
Okay.
You know, of course Zillow because that's where the consumer is. You know, but yeah, Facebook, Google, Zillow, you're doing good. Realtor.com.
Are you involved with Google Plus at all?
Not enough to hold a conversation about it. You know, why? What's up?
I've just heard about it, that it's where businesses are going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you feel like it's. Yeah, because like, okay, so it's like, you get a review, that's great and everything, but then you gotta publish it, you gotta let people know about it. You know, so if I get a Zillow review, for example, you know, I'll take a screenshot of it and put it on Facebook. You know, it's like people like successful people, you know,
Yes.
So yeah, whatever you do, however you get the reviews, make sure that everybody knows about it as well. So, cool. All right, anything else on this, on page 22? Anything else you wanna add? Or you might feel is helpful?
No, the EDGE database and the information I put in there, is that my property or Keller Williams?
That's going to be Command. This is an older layout, so yeah, it's Command, not EDGE.
But
Yeah.
whose property is that? That information.
Keller Williams.
Yep, always have your stuff in multiple places, for sure. So, you know, it's a good question.
I'm not creating, I'm using what they paid for, I'm using it for myself, but if I leave the company, it's still
Right.
their property.
Good, yeah, good point. Yep, it's all good. Yeah, if they were to have charged for command, I don't know what that would look like, you know? So, and my thing, setting command aside, if whatever database you use, it's gotta be the best one for you, you know? Some agents don't use command yet, you know, some do, some people like it. So it's like, whatever you do, use it consistently. Excuse me. The database that you use is the one that works for you, you know? So, okay, cool. All right, 23, customer experience. Can someone read this, please?
Customers do business with you because of your service and the perceived value they get from that. They want to do business with people that help them feel comfortable with making one of the biggest decisions in their life. Truth. An excellent customer experience will set you apart.
Yep, cool. Always under promise and over deliver. We spoke about that. Can someone read this?
This idea should be a hallmark of your business. Here are some examples. If you say you will communicate once a week, communicate twice a week, or until your seller asks you to scale down. Say your staging expert will be in touch with the sellers that week and then make sure the stager calls them the next day.
Cool, yeah, so what else? What are some other examples of what you can do? Regarding, like, you know, under promise and over deliver. I guess something, you know, like, you could go off of like average days on market on the multi-list. Say, yeah, I expect your home to sell in 30 days, and you sell in 14 days, or a week, or a couple days, you know? Maybe you can incorporate that into your listing presentation.
Every 30 days, give them a market update or another report on what's going on with the market, because that might help you get a price reduction or something on that order.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think I said this on Wednesday, is like, you know, if you are communicating with your sellers and the home is not selling, they're going to blame the market. If you're not communicating and the home is not selling, then they're going to blame you. So again, it's just up. And I will tell you is that it's easier to stay on top of this, stay on top of communication, rather than like falling off and trying to play catch up, you know, because you've lost that little edge of like an excellent customer service. So just hardcore communication up front, and always, rather than like starting right in the middle. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And always end a call with, here's what's going to happen next. Or end a text message with, here's what's going to happen next. Okay, your home is now off the market, what's going to happen next? The home inspection is going to be scheduled. You know, the home inspection is going to be scheduled through showing time. It'll be just like a text message. Okay? Hey, home inspection's all set. You're good. Here's what's happening next. It's a 2-week process for the appraisal to get ordered, completed, and returned. Sit tight. The mortgage is the ball. The mortgage ball is rolling. You know, let them know. You know, like streamline the expectations. Cool. Okay, so 24. Can someone read the top, please? Becca left, so I mean, you guys gotta pick up the slack.
Break into groups of 2. Work with a different partner than the last time you practiced your listing presentation. Take turns practicing the seller listing presentation. Practicing the listing presentation will make it seamless in front of the potential clients. Incorporate what you have learned today to communicate the benefits of staging your marketing plan and your communication. Continue to practice this listing presentation with your accountability strict partner.
Val, are you on 24?
Oh, are you waiting till I was done and then tell
Well,
me?
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the one, like, yeah, we can totally do that.
All right, I'll start all over.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, hone your problem resolution skills. Make it a habit never to communicate with a client about a problem without having 1 or more solutions to recommend. Your clients are looking to you to be the best expert to have the answers. What kind of problems might arise that you can apply solutions to be seen as a customers bureau.
Yeah, so what problems have you guys encountered, that you'd have to overcome when either the house was live or when it went pending? Talk to me about that.
Inspections,
Yep,
appraisals,
okay. Tell me more.
things in the inspection that they weren't counting on, that had to be fixed.
Yep,
That cost quite a bit.
totally. Yep. So like, how would one overcome that?
Well, they pretty much had to, you know,
Well, I don't know that nobody has to do anything. But the thing about it is that if, like, let's say repairs, so we're talking about repair issues, is this going to be a problem for every buyer?
yes.
That's the conversation. If yes, then yes, I would recommend getting it done. If the buyer's being a maniac, then maybe you negotiate something less, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, or like, even something silly with my house. They didn't like my fire, what do you call them,
Mantle?
No, like the,
Extinguisher.
no, I can't think of the word.
Fire,
Smoke
smoke detectors? Smoke detectors!
Thank you.
Alright!
The smoke detectors, that was what they found in my inspection. They did not like my smoke detectors, they were old, they wanted new ones, and they didn't want cheap ones from Home Depot. They wanted really nice ones, so they asked me for $700 for that. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, you know, that's a little aggressive, you know? So what'd you guys do?
I said, listen, I'm not gonna blow the deal over, I'll give you $250, that's the most I'm giving you, and that's what we did. And they settled with that.
Yeah. Another thing to stay present to is the competence of the other agent. Because like you guys have to understand is that you're one of the best trained people in the company, excuse me, in the industry. Not everybody has this, you know what I mean? So it's like you want to just acknowledge that. Does this person know what they're doing? You
That's
know?
worth saying again.
So,
That's really worth saying again.
yeah.
They don't realize it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like the education, the training, the systems, the models that you all are getting access to and implementing. You know, 90% of agents don't have this. You know, so just acknowledge that because $700 smoke detectors. A lot of times, this isn't necessarily like a.
I'm not even kidding. That is.
I believe it. I believe it. And it's like, you know, some like, and I'm not like, this is not like a right or wrong, good or bad thing, but like some buyer agents, they want to like say, or some buyers, they want to have the last word, you know, because buyer agents want to, you know, negotiate for their client, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, that's, I guess, but do they want the house or do they want the house? We're in a market where home inspections are a go or no-go opportunity. They're not to beat up a seller, you know, unless that issue is going to be a problem for anybody.
Yeah.
Good.
One problem that I seem to come up with quite a bit through the home inspections, mold in the attic.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Okay, so I kind of prepare myself for that.
Yep.
And if it does arise, before I call the sellers up, I'll have some solutions for them on how to either remediate it or have a company or a couple companies that they can call to
Totally
solve the problem. I'll also ask the agent, the buyer's agent, if they would send me a portion of the report that addresses where the inspectors mentioned.
That's valid.
With pictures so we can back it up and validate it.
Yep.
That way I can show that to the seller. So
You don't
here's the
get the
problem.
whole.
And here's the whole, what's that?
You don't get the whole.
I don't get the whole report.
Well, the report is really the buyer's report,
No,
so they have to give you have to get permission to get it. And then I'll tell you, there's a lot of them that tell me, no, you're not getting the report. We get a few that do.
Totally. Yeah, well, it backs it up, you know.
And then I just thought, okay, just give me the portion that you want us to address the problem with, so I can verify that it is a problem. Because I don't want to take somebody's word or their opinion.
Right.
On
Yeah,
what
for sure.
they think it might be.
Yeah, that's around for no reason. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's valid. Yeah, you want to justify what you're asking for, whether it's concessions or whatever. money
you
off
have to
price.
even be careful with that, because I had a listing in Warren, and then again, the buyer's agent tell me that they wanted a $6,000 credit for the sewer scope that was done, because of all the tree lines in there, you know, so $6,000 was gonna be.
Yep.
And I mentioned it to my seller, and she's like, we have never had that issue, and she ended up paying for her own inspection, sewer scope, and it was nothing.
Wow, see?
So we let that, we let them go, and I called him out on it, he sent me a video, and it said, how, who's to know this is even the house?
Yeah, the video, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Trifling, man.
I had one too with the electrical, and the owner was an electrician. And they were saying there was some issues with the electrical, and so he did a video and went through this whole video of telling them exactly everything, and they're like, okay, and then they kind of like let that go.
Yep.
It was that part.
I hear you. Yeah, yeah. So it's like, you know, I say this all the time. If it wasn't for the people, this would be a great business. But we got to work with what we have, you know. So it's like, you know, people are messy. You know, humans are messy. You know, so it's like we have to come from like solution based. It's got to be a win-win. You know, your person's got to be happy no matter what side of the coin you're on, and you know, really the other side, it's got to be workable for them. You know, so.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Like, okay, so like the mold in the attic.
Yeah.
Now let's say they decide, okay, we don't want to go with it. Now you have to disclose that, right?
Yes. It has to be disclosed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't disclose it unless I had something right, you know, like something real. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I.
Yeah, for sure. If it's like documented, then that's
I'm not
one
taking
thing.
over what he's.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah. And it's like mold, like people get all emotional about mold. Mold is not a big deal. You know, it's relatively inexpensive to remediate. It happens all the time. It comes from poor, like, breathe, that, you know, addicts have to breathe and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not as, it's overcomable, let's put it that way. You know? Unless it's like been happening for 20 years and then you got a problem.
A lot of times people will vent the bathrooms into the attic and
Right.
to the outside, what causes them problems.
Yep, that's exactly right.
But you want to future face your buyers and get expectations. Look, we're here to look at this house. This is deal breakers only. We're not here to nickel and dime these people.
Right.
You saw the home, you put the offer in as is, you know it's an as is property. Let's find if we have any deal breakers here. I always pace my buyers that way. I don't want a list to go back and forth with and play that game. My buyers don't do it, but if you set expectations up front, you're better off than if you just, because some buyers are nickel and dime you. If they do that, it's always a give and take. Like for example, your smoke alarm, your thing, okay, great. Well, the price is $700 more. We'll put them in for you.
Oh,
It's a give and take.
You're gonna put Home Depot ones in. We don't want that. That's what they said. I don't know.
I get it,
just
but
were looking for
some
money,
people are
that's
just
all.
trying to get a little more.
A little more.
So the
Last
way to
word.
stop a little more is
Yeah.
always ask for something in return.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
it.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, good. Oh yeah, totally. All right, so I'm expecting Jeff here any minute, so we're gonna run this exercise that Valerie already read. So talk to me about your guys' listing presentations. Where are you at with that? Do you have them? Do you not have them? How confident are you in the delivery? What's going on with that?
I'm going to my first one tonight.
First one's nice.
I'm going with, Steve Dobbs.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So where'd you get the appointment?
Somebody, the woman called in a couple nights ago, he was sitting here in the office. He handed him the phone.
Oh, so okay, so it's his appointment, and you're going with him.
I'm just going with him to observe, yeah.
Floor call. Beautiful. Nice. Cool. Where's the house?
Somewhere near, I think Shaner, 23 Mile.
Okay. Yep. In the area. Makes sense.
Divorce situation.
Yep. Been there. Not me, I'm saying that. So, whatever. Okay. Alright, so why don't we do that? Why don't we break off and do you guys have your listing? I didn't really get a clear answer from anybody. Do you guys have a listing presentation?
Tom handed them out.
I have one.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
we got
a
it in
script
here.
from Tom.
Yep, the bold script. Yep, that's my listing presentation.
But I don't have my own system yet.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, alright, I got that. So, do you guys have that script with you?
I do not.
I wouldn't have used it.
No. Do you have any listing presentation with you?
On me, it's in my room.
Okay, no, okay,
I have a book,
sure.
like a brag book,
Yep.
along with the listing presentation in front. Mine is mostly for Floyd.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I got you. All right. So it probably, if you guys don't have listing presentation, it probably wouldn't make sense for us to pair off and do this then, right?
Right.
Do you guys work?
I do the bold listing presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it for years. Yeah, I have, yep, yeah, so, what's that? Yeah, I've taken it 4 times. I was the coordinator last year, I'm the coordinator this year. Yeah, so, yeah. The coordinator is like the right hand of the coach, so, yeah, absolutely. Good
Where are we
stuff.
supposed to be getting these presentations?
Go ahead.
What are you asking about?
What?
Presentation?
Yeah, a listing presentation. Do you have a listing
Tom gave them
presentation?
out when he,
Right,
this past week.
okay,
Oh,
right.
I think
Hey, Nick, if we only have a minute, do you wanna, did your Facebook post have to do with live? That you
Or
don't
was
sell
it
to
Kate?
people, you sell
Oh, I
to
got
them?
the seller survey.
Do you wanna explain that?
Like this, like, you know, you're not necessarily selling a house or something.
I just thought it was a big wrap up.
No, I understand.
We
Yeah,
already
let me call, yeah, because we have 2 minutes. Let me see where Jeff is at, so just hang
Where's
tight.
Jeff? That you're talking
He's
about?
our home warranty, the home warranty guy.
Yeah. Does anybody want the open house card I use, by the way?
Sure.
Yeah. Just make copies, don't bother, I mean, it's for your purposes only, so. The front, it's front and back. Anybody else want it?
What are you doing this weekend?
Sure.
If you get a chance. I'm doing.
I know, but I'm going to get where.
It is at.
I got an ESP to figure out, hopefully I find your address.
I'll email you. How's that? Well, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody good?
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I thought they were around that. It's in a different mindset. And there's different ways of teaching people.
It's just gonna be Jeff from here on in. I use Jeff all the time.
So do I, yeah. Sweet.
I'll talk to you later.
Will do.
Alright, so, yeah, he's en route, so, I don't wanna start anything and have to end it, so I guess we could take these last 2, 3, 5 minutes or whatever, and, really just kind of wrap up with what you guys wanna wrap up with, like what would be the best use of your guys' time in the next 5 minutes?
What makes you successful?
What makes me that's not about me. I meant about like open house.
But you're here to teach, so what would you say is, like, what makes you the chosen one?
I'm the chosen several, so that's not, you know what I mean. I'm sorry, okay. I mean, it's like, are you asking for advice if like,
I would just say
Just like a new
general
agent?
as like what for everybody, like
Yeah.
what would you say that makes you a success besides your personality? You have a great sales personality, you're not intimidating, you're very motivating, but what do you think it is that you know about yourself that makes you successful?
I'm consistent,
That's great.
and I don't mean to oversimplify it. In this business, it's very easy to say like, hey, I got my real estate license. That's great. Talk to me in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you know? Being consistent with communication is what really sets you apart from other just real estate agents, whether part-time or full-time. So, that would be my biggest piece of advice. Lead generating consistently, having a number to it, and really insulating that time and doing it no matter what. If you want to have this business scalable, not a right or wrong thing, right? It's just, I'm obedient. I think that's another thing. I do what I'm told. I absorb information. I'm learning based, you know? So it's like, there's that. And then lastly, leave your ego at the door, you know? So I guess in the short, that would be it. Consistently communicate, check the ego, you know, do what other successful people do. Time block. Right. Your day is 1 before 11 a.m.
Can I add something into that?
Sure.
The biggest thing that I see in the success of agents is making it a job and not a hobby.
That's exactly right.
And that is what I've learned from this last 6 months being a transitional, going in from like, okay, I'm picking it up part-time, and then I was frustrated, and then I gotta do this. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
For sure, you got people get into this business for the flexibility. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta treat it like a 9 to 5, 100%. Because like, you guys really wake up every day without a job, and yet you have every opportunity to make something happen every single day. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, cool. On that note, Jeff is here and he left, so he's gonna take over.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the launch, what do you recommend when you launch a house? The house should be completely ready and priced right when you launch it, or like when Brad brought that up, that you launch it and then you still might have something to do? What would you recommend?
It's really all dependent on what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like if you gotta paint a bedroom, I'm sure you can get away with it. You know, if you gotta like stage and rehab the whole house, you know what I mean? It's like.
So really kind of too depending on the competition. If you have a lot of competition, it should be fully ready.
That's exactly right. Yep, for sure.
I just wondered if you had a plan.
Alright. Jeff! How are you, sir? Well. Good. Alright, so at this point, Jeff, come on up. So Jeff is our home warranty. Hey, Jeff, how do you want to do this? You want to have them get something to eat and then you talk? Or it's up to them. Yeah, you're ready for it. You guys want to eat now? Yeah. And then I'll talk? Yeah, let's do that. Yes, you can say. Okay, no problem.